dark. Oh, the ties that thread and tangle tight. Diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carried far away. Pages turn but bridges burn so fast. A name in ember solemnly cast. In halls of power a silent decree echoes in whispers across the sea. Oh, the ties that thread and tangle tight. Diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carried far away. When walls talk back and windows cry, boundaries drawn under heavy skies. In the space between the set and scene lies a story that cuts unclean. Hold the ties that thread and tangle tight. Diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carried far away. Persona non grata carried far away.
Let's try this all over again. Welcome back to the program, folks. Okay, so Quids, what was your point about earlier? Are you back, Quids? You said something about I gave the wrong link in. Also, I hope I answered the gentleman's question. Sorry about that, folks. My internet just went kaplooey. It just went out. So it wasn't YouTube. It was the internet. That hasn't happened in donkey years. Don't know what happened. It wasn't my router. I didn't even have to reset my router. I went, and it was already back on the internet. Just long enough to drop me off. So maybe somebody said a spike out there. So thanks for being back with us, folks. We had 290 people. Now we're down to 160. Hopefully people can find us. Hopefully they can find us. Quids, are you back? What were you saying about I'm giving the wrong link to the video? I'm giving a link that doesn't work. It's full of comments. Ladies and gentlemen, for the many, many times I've said this, the name of the song is Persona Non Grata, Natasha. Persona Non Grata. It's a song I came up with, generated by artificial intelligence with my lyrics put into it. So the WhatsApp groups, the two that I created, only people can post them are my mods and me. And I've asked Hendo to quit posting things in there, but he keeps doing it. But it isn't that many things. So I've rarely posted in there. It's a push only. So the comment that Quids made, if you're back, Quids, that I'm putting, it's overwhelming people, that has nothing to do with me. Please stop attributing something I have nothing to do with me. Okay? I'd appreciate if people quit doing that. All right? I really would appreciate that. I have nothing to do with what you're talking about. It's simply not true. I don't know how much clearer to make it to people. I have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. So please stop telling people that. And if you don't like the stuff, then leave the group. I don't know why people come here. Quids isn't the first person to come here and tell me that. If you don't like a group, there's too many people in it, leave it. People keep sticking me in groups and I didn't authorize it and I keep dropping out of the groups. So leave the groups. You asked to get in the groups that I've created, and I keep telling people the WhatsApp groups are full, but people keep sending me messages, endless messages asking to join a group. I did not ask for people to send me those messages. That's what the whole point of that conversation was. And then the other gentleman was answering his question about the email, and I hope I answered it, but I don't know how much went through before the signal dropped off. So, let me look at this here. What the heck is that? Okay, okay. Let me see here. Please add me to the group. 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 Can you add me to the group? 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 I mean, honestly, guys, why are people sending me this stuff? I've said the group is full. These are obviously people spreading my information, my name around that don't watch the program. I mean, I'm not going to put people in there. I mean, I've been very polite. I've been very patient, but this is just too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. And it's well beyond too much, folks. Well beyond too much. Holden, welcome back. Kioma Fenter, Jarethra, Kevin, you were the person who asked the question about the email from Amerikaners. I don't know what advice to give you other than if I were in your shoes, I would send an email to that U.S. Embassy address now and at least get in their database so they have interest. But I don't know if that's going to matter. I don't know if you're going to be burdening them, but I wouldn't really care. They deserve to be burdened. It's now been since February 7th. We're approaching 2 months since President Trump issued that executive order, and they're doing very little to keep you informed. So, I have very little empathy for American Embassy. That's and the American State Department. That's on them for failing to get it done. If they'd been more responsive and done things quicker, I mean, it took them 6 weeks to come up with this list of frequently asked questions, which I delivered in less than 3 days on the internet and got correct. They work for the State Department. They have lawyers that can answer their questions. They work with PRM, which is part of the State Department, to get people out of the country. They should have answered these questions a long time ago because these aren't South Africa specific questions. These are generic questions that apply to South Africa. And so it's just very frustrating. Okay, so where are we at here? Did I answer your question, Kevin? I don't feel bad for me, Kevin. I'm an adult. I'll be fine. Thank you. Yeah, YouTube. No, it's not YouTube. It was my internet. It's like somebody sent a spike and knocked my router offline. It rebooted all on its own. Yeah, this is the third start, isn't it, this morning? Wow. Seems to be a typical Thursday, says Darlene. Maybe. Hendo's back. Yappy Brand. Well, thank you, Raina. Not everybody does. I think Quids is mad at me. He doesn't have to be mad at me. But Quids is saying something that isn't true. I mean, because someone misunderstands, don't blame me because you misunderstand. I can tell you unequivocally that nobody is commenting in the groups that I've created for refugees. There's 2 of them. The fact that you're seeing comments that come from someone other than Hendo or I means, folks, that you're not in the group. And then people come in the group and tell me that, that stop. So you imagine, anyway. Oof. It gets incredibly frustrating. Well, Kevin, thank you. I've earned respect for what I do, but I would argue that's very kind of it. I would argue the respect for what I've accomplished in my life and how I treat other people and who I am. And the title alone should get some respect. But that's a whole other story. But thank you for your comments. Fang Wan Wannabe's back. Good to see you again. It's been a while. Veritas, it's been a while for you too. And then let's give him, okay, thank you. Christoffel Schultz, Freak de Fillas. Jan van Driel's back. Good to see you again. Yeah, the dancing was just, to lighten up the mood after the way that the stream ended because the internet dropped off on me. YouTube will let it, if it loses that signal, it'll hold on for so many seconds, usually 15 or 20 seconds, but it just went beyond that. Yeah. They got their BE certificate. No, it's not YouTube, guys. It was my internet. Although YouTube was the problem the first time around, this time it was the internet. Yolanda Smith, welcome to you. Theo Holmes, Heinrich Schönefeld, Jason Paul, Sean Mandich. Sean, how's it going, man? Prodigy. Sean, your parents well? Stefan in from Namibia, if I'm not mistaken. Gideon Maloney, welcome to you. Twin Vader, Theo Holmes. That's how living free looks. Yeah, exactly, Theo. Yeah, free living, liberty. Yep. Elizabeth Kruger, Mau gave a super chat, didn't you, Mau? And I missed it. My apologies for that. Retha likes the music. Yeah, hopefully it works this time, Hendo. Yeah, Anna Marie Nell. Yes, I know people are looking. Hey, Anna Marie, what's going on with Formula One? You've kept me out in the dark, out of the loop. What's going on? Pale Dragon says we're back. Okay, copies here. Jacob Basson, 251. We were at 290 in the last one. I have a WhatsApp channel that people can join where I share most of your vids. Well, thank you for that, Prodigy. I guess I scared away Quids. Sorry, Quids, if you took it personally. But I'm asking you to quit telling people that that's not true. Arn Tennyson, I love your occasional rants, but people get pissing off you is not cool. Your program's incredibly helpful and giving me hope when it's vanished. Thank you, Colonel. You're welcome, Arn Tennyson. Well, look, I mean, Quids wasn't pissing me off, but Quids, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Quids, why you said that. Again, I have the groups I can see. I can show you on the screen if I can find, let me see. Yeah, here we go. I'll just put it on the screen, okay? I'm trying to see if I'll reveal anything by putting it on the screen. Yeah. Let me do this. All right. So, yeah, I mean, just there's look, here, I'll show you on the screen. So, there's Hendo. Nothing for me, Hendo. But that's a week. That goes back, or 4 days, excuse me. Hendo. There's one for me. I posted something there. That was the Neil Diamond. That's one group. Here's the other group. Well, someone just left. Oh, great. Let's see who that was. Okay. Anyway. So, yeah. So, enough of that. Look, there's nothing, there's nobody, there's nothing there, folks. So, it's just wrong. I wish people wouldn't tell people that. Because if people spread around, well, the Colonel's got a group, but everybody's in it. And there's nobody in the group, guys. Look, it really pisses me off when I have the foresight and the intelligence and the ability to predict the problem as a leader that having people chat in a group would be problematic for people who simply want information. The purpose in creating the group was so that people would simply get information, because I know what people do on social media. Fight, and it all goes to crap. So, therefore, I created the group and limited it to myself and my moderators. Maybe I should limit it to myself. Then there's no reason for moderator, is it? Then the purpose of the groups was only for information that's verified or my analysis of things. Hendo means well, and he puts videos in there that thinks might be interesting to people in the group. He's trying to promote my channel. So I don't spank Hendo because he's a great moderator. But I have said repeatedly it's only for my videos that are analysis or links and videos, things that are verifiable. So that we avoid all that. So that Quids doesn't come in here and other people come in here and say, hey, your group is full of garbage, man. How am I supposed to? It's driving me nuts. It's driving you nuts. Whatever group you're in, leave it. It's not my group. The fact that someone put my name in as an administrator doesn't mean it's my group. All right? There are groups out there where people stolen my photograph on Telegram, especially, and claim to be me. But look at the handle. The handle isn't consistent. Look on WhatsApp. It's not my group, folks. Please, please do not attribute BS to me. If it's mine, I'll take responsibility for it. Those groups are mine. What Hendo and I do in there and the other moderators do is on me. It's my responsibility to make sure it's safe. Okay? But there is no one in my group who can post anything other than those people. Done and dusted, finished and clear. The reason I got a little frustrated, but I wasn't rude, but a little frustrated with what Quid said is because this topic has come up half a dozen times this week. Also, I keep getting, well, the Telegram group doesn't work. Yes, it does. The link works. The fact that you couldn't get to it the first time is a network problem on your end. Please try again. Most people try a second time and they get into the Telegram group. Okay? So please be patient and understandable. Okay? All right? There's no stress on me, Yappy. I'm saying quit blaming me for something that's not mine. It's not my group. Why do people presume it's my group? Look at it. If I'm listed as an admin, I'm not listed as the founder or creator, okay? So it's not giving me any stress. It's just annoying. It's annoying. I deal in facts, not BS. Okay, Twin Fader says, watch all your videos, more than enough info for me. Thank you. No, it's nothing to do with Windows, Pale Dragon. Nothing to do with Windows. No, the moderator, or not the moderator, the moderator. The modem just got restarted. It could have been done remotely by my provider. It just, my modem restarted, my router. So I had to, I'm connected by fiber. I have cable here that connects me to my router, so it's not Wi-Fi. So it just rebooted. I walked in, it was in the process of rebooting. So that's highly unusual. But these routers that the Comcast buys are crap from China, and they don't last very long. So that's the third modem router I've had in 3 years. because they stopped working. This one's only a few months old, so I think September's when I put it in. All right, so it looks like Quids didn't come back. I'm sorry, because Quids have been in the show. I mean, shouldn't have taken offense from it. Anyway. Okay. I think it's about the Cafe Clutch group that Endo is promoting where everyone can post. Could be, Gideon. Okay, could be. Then people need to leave it. I wasn't, okay, thank you, Gideon, but I wasn't talking about that group, was I? I was talking specifically about people that keep asking me to join the refugee groups. That's what I was talking about. So then it should have been made clear, not from you, but from the other person, it should have been made clear that that's the group they're talking about. Then I could have addressed that. If you don't want to be in it, then leave. This is why I don't like groups, because people don't know how to behave in them. My router thinks I need some sleep. Nope. 25% tariff on cars support US. Yes, it will be, Sir Raven. I believe, most likely. It didn't say specifically. We have to look and see what he says in that. All right, so we've dealt with Holden Caulfield's concern for the 4 soldiers. Thank you for that story, Holden, which I wasn't following. Okay, appreciate that. I'm trying to get my house in order over here now. Okay, so my windows are all messed up courtesy of this stupidity going on here. Okay, so now we're back straight there. Okay, good. Studio's there, over 400 people. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. Only 137 likes. Maybe people are upset with me now. Yeah. Kevin, I've answered your question now, haven't I, Kevin? I think I have. Neil DeBeer opened a case against MK Parliament for saying that farm attacks are solutions. What? I didn't see that. Wow. Wow. A member of MK said that in Parliament? That's crazy. That's not being reported anywhere in the news. Well, yes, we need to add more electric plants because of the growth of the cloud computing and of artificial intelligence. It's sucking up all the electricity. Is any attention given to other U.S. embassy than Pretoria? What do you mean, Teo? I don't understand your question. And please don't put it in all caps. Only Hendo. Don't do that to get my attention because I'll just ignore it in future. Only Hendo does all caps. We let Hendo do that because his computer's broken. Traditionally, I've been on the computer a long time. I've been on the computer so long that when we were in internet relay chat back in the day, using all caps was considered to be rude. It was a way to be insulting to people. So you probably don't know that, Theo, but please do not use all caps. You didn't mean to be rude. You said sir, so obviously weren't trying to be rude. Is any attention given to other U.S. embassy than other than Pretoria? I don't know what you mean by attention. By whom? By whom? Please explain. There's Mal Super Chat. I knew there was one here somewhere. Thank you. Chris Ferrer, welcome to you. Petro Jakobsen. May I ask clarifying questions? You can say no. Well, of course I can say no, Kevin, but why would I say no? You've been so polite. Kevin, what's your clarifying question? Going to wear you down? No, they're not wearing me down, Willem. I'm fine. You guys have not seen me angry. I get a kick out of this. People are like, oh, the colonel's upset. No, not even close. Bossy Blinglo says, correct if I'm wrong, I heard people already went for interviews for FG status. How did they do that? I don't even know. Well, Blasey, you haven't been watching the channel lately, have you? Have you now, Blasey? Well, yes, people have gone. And surprisingly not, Chris has done an interview of 2 of the people who went. One of the very first and one of those who went a few days later. And I've done videos explaining what the interview was about and how it went. So I will give you a link to one of those videos. Where's it at? I've done so many videos I can find it. It's got to be after that. Come on. What the heck is that? Now I can't find. No wonder you can't find my videos. It can't be that long ago. 5 days ago already? No, that's 12 days ago. Something's not right here. Where are my videos at? Are my videos been removed? Oh, here's one. Okay. I was going to say. The titles aren't very helpful. Interview analysis. So here's one right here. Okay. Sorry about that. It took me a hard time to find them now. So here's one of the interviews. Bozzy. So yes, people have gone for interviews, Bozzy, to answer questions specifically, but they're preliminary interviews, and they were with people who had sent an email to the embassy at some point. And so the embassy picked some of these people random, and they're people from all over the country, from what I can see. A couple of my personal friends actually have got these emails, and they're traveling to Pretoria. A couple of people around Pretoria got them. And so, yes, but the interviews are being conducted at the State Department. The initial team that went over from PRM, that's the department responsible for this populated for refugee migration, they went over, they interviewed some people. One of the interviews lasted 90 minutes. And if you watch that video, you'll find out what to expect and those sorts of things. Also, if you go to, I got to post it again because we had to restart this broadcast. If you go to my Substack, you will find these things there. I think it's on, oh, that one's posted there. Now, by putting on Substack, it doesn't help my viewership because I'm helping you out. You don't get credit. I don't get credit for you watching that through Substack. At least I don't think I do. But anyway, there's the Substack. Let me pin that at the top. Okay, pin message. Okay, so there's the Substack. And if I go to my Substack, I'm going to see if these videos are actually there, the interviews. Hang on a second here. Dashboard. See the most recent one here, Refugee Program, which had 3,300 views. Okay, can I see it? View post. There we go. View posts. Let me go down. What's the last couple I did there? So, actually, I don't know if they're there, the interviews. Okay, I've got to go back and update that then. They're not there. Trump's Refugee Program interview analysis. That one's not there, so it's not up to date. Okay, but that's what this one looks like, the one I was just sending you the link to a few minutes ago. Trump's Refugee Program interview analysis, okay? Hello, folks. Welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania once again. And to all the naysayers, all the scamsters, all the hucksters, all the liars, all the people trying to deceive South Africans who have expressed an interest in the U.S. refugee resettlement offer by President, two people on that list as primary heads of household who want to have information about this. So they went and turned this over to the U.S. government just a few days. The interview today at the U.S. Embassy in Hatfield. I should say tomorrow. It's now Friday the 21st. This occurred on Thursday the 20th, but I'm still up and it's after midnight. My source received her invitational email about 3 hours before I published my first video about a couple who had went for their preliminary interview. Now, she was very skeptical about whether the email was genuine because the letter came from the Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration. She didn't realize that this... Anyway, so that's one of the videos. I'll have to update that list, I guess. I'm a little behind. So Buzzy Bling note, in fact, there have been interviews, but these aren't refugee offers. These aren't refugee applications. You're not filling out a form to join. You're simply answering their questions so that the State Department can gauge the interest and just how serious the situation is. So they're doing a number of these preliminary interviews. Another team's already went to South Africa. They're there this week. I think another team will go next week. They're just rotating through. I hope I answered your question. Okay, and Kevin, you clarifying question. I'll get to that in a second. Storm Chasers, what do you pay? I pay $300, 6,000 Rand per month for my internet. Only to see it go out. Yeah, okay. All right. Solomon Crocodile was in the United States for reasons that were stated on the Orania website. He released a video. They put a video out before he came to the States explaining why they're here. I didn't inquire why they're here. I just did an interview about their experiences in America because the rest is their business and they didn't want to talk about that. But I thought it'd be interesting. So I have a video about used to being in America, Orania to Baltimore, which isn't getting much play because I guess I didn't call them racist, and so it doesn't get the attention from YouTube. Americaners, good morning to you. How you doing, Sam? Jeremy says Billy Goat Gruff versus the Trolls. Chris, I have a WhatsApp channel. Okay, got it. I love your occasional rants, but people pissing off is not cool. Okay, I was already here. Yannicka Renke, welcome back. Glad you made it back. 313 people currently here. Brahm is here. Antoinette Cronier. What a nice gesture from Rob Hersoff last night. What was that, Jan? What gesture was that? Jan says they're talking about the Cafe Klotz group. Well, the Cafe Klotz group is exactly that. It's a Cafe Klotz is where people bullshit. They sit around and talk. They drink coffee. That's why it was named that. It's for people to post whatever they want in there. So if you don't want to be there, then you leave. There's a bunch of groups. Add me, the person left because the ones were... Well, it's in the order they come. I don't play favorites. I don't play favorites. So someone left that group. Who was it? I want to see who this was. I think it was Quids. I think Quids left. So now I can add somebody else. Pending request. All right, somebody just got in that group. 2 got in. 2 got in. Wow, somebody's feelings must have been hurt. All right, so 2 people got in. And that's in the group, first group. So there you go. See why I don't want to deal with this crap? See why I don't want to deal with this? Because this is nonsense. I hate it. I just quit doing it, and then I don't have to worry about it. Hey Elsa, how you doing there? Excuse my ignorance, but is it possible that no? It's okay. I was already there. It's not Windows 10. It's just it was my router. Maybe the other group leader should remove you as a moderator. There's no stress in me, Yappy. Wow, how did I get back to the same chat again? Noda. Whatever. He's welcome to watch my videos. Theo says, offering the same service Refugee application Purdue is currently doing. Huh? I'm lost. I got to go back and find what Theo said now because that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, Alan says, I don't understand these session WhatsApp groups. I'm in all those groups, and it's all a bunch of bored people talking cock. Thank you. Thank you, Alan. I don't get it either. Oh, Quids, you're back, man. Okay. Thought you're mad at me. Okay. All right, you're back. Thank you for being back. Yeah, don't take it personally. Yeah, okay, my moderator, okay. You made an assumption, okay? You made an assumption. My moderator, okay, so let's be clear, okay? There's a number of WhatsApp groups that are associated with me, okay? 1 or 2 I started, but others started them without my knowledge and added me as member and sometimes as a moderator. So, for instance, every time I post a video, I have one called the Colonel's Highland Tour. That one, how many members does it have? It doesn't tell me. I hate this. It doesn't tell me members. Oh, there's only 4 people in that group. Everybody else left it. That's a waste of my time. Colonel's Bricks Tour 2023. Members, 141 people are in that one. Chris Wyatt News Group, I didn't create that one. That has 27 members. Moderators Group, that's one I created for my moderators, and I have 11 members who are moderators in there. Then I posted, there's a Wide Army too. I have nothing to do with that, but I have access to it. It has 12 members. So, wow, there's almost nobody in some of these groups. Colonel Wyatt's Brainstorm Strategy, that's something new that came up today. I didn't create that, so, but it has something else. Anyway, so, yeah, so the Cafe Clutch is a group because people couldn't get into. The reason Hendo posted that link, Quids, is because people couldn't get into the refugee group and they wanted to be in a group. So we made available. Those other groups are open to people. You just have to be approved to go in them. Some of them, others you can jump right away. I have one group on WhatsApp that has like 500 some people in it, but that's the biggest one. Most it had was like 1,000 at one point. And it just dwindled down because people they get tired of WhatsApp groups because people talk, they pot cock in there, and so it gets old. Yeah, but okay, so Quids, we're straight. I'm glad you're here. I didn't want you to run off. So, yeah, folks, you got to be clear. I can't read what's in your mind. When you tell me that the group that I shared, because that's what Quid said, the group that I shared is full of cockpot. No, I didn't share any groups lately. I don't share groups with people. My other groups, I ask the moderators to share it. I don't do that. The only groups I've been sharing is the refugee group to help people out who have questions about the refugee thing, because I have a text file here that I keep open, which has my email for the account. It has the embassy email. It has the list for the Substack. It has several links because I need them. Smart moderators have the same thing waiting for them. They have comments and quotes and little things you need to put in there. Poof, they put it in. Hold your questions till after the news is over. Some moderators have the text. They just copy and paste it in just so it's there faster so they can respond. I'm doing the same thing because there's so many things coming in. So when you said it's a group that I posted, I don't post WhatsApp groups except those 2, except the rare exceptions. Okay, we're straight now. Christo Clote, no, you're not going to Wyoming, man. Stop it. Will you open a hamster refugee Nick, where you been, man? I am going to do it. I'm going to open a hamster refugee group. Ricardo says, good morning from the crap hole. Yep. Okay. So is this a refugee group yours? No. My group is 2 groups for refugees, and both of them have the same name. One's the second one. So where'd they go? Okay. Now, U.S. Refugee Admissions Group Info Group. That's mine. And then it's U.S. Refugee Admissions Group Info Group 2. That's it. U.S. U.S.S. Refugee. So if it's not that, it's not from me. Okay? All right. What is happening is what I call wounded animal syndrome. They lash out at anyone, even those who try to help. Yep, that's right. You find a bear in a trap, and you try to release that bear from the trap, and he mauls you. Yep, that's a good comparison there. Trolls are uniting, and their stupidity is starting to show through why Southern Leopard can't change his spots. Amanda says, hey guys, there are many groups not run by Chris where people all add all kinds of crap. And frankly, it's a dating app. So exactly, Amanda. Exactly. Let's leave those people here when we all go. Xavier Grayling, good morning to you. Okay, I'm still waiting for the question I missed. Okay, Theo, hope it's not the same headaches in person. We're already giving you one. You're not giving me a headache, guys. I'm fine. I'd like to clarify things, okay? I don't want to be blamed for something I haven't done. People can blame me for my analysis. They can disagree with it. But don't blame me for something that I didn't do, okay? Load shedding bandwidth again, okay? Yeah, it's the third one in 3 years, Storm Chaser. They buy garbage from China. It doesn't last. And their solution, rather than fix and check the networks, is to give you a new router, which seems to have done the trick the last 2 years. Do you think the phones and Signal app that were given and preloaded with context could have been an insight? I do think, Amanda, that something fishy is going on here. Also, that I think the gentleman who disclosed the information should be arrested. Jeffrey Goldberg should be arrested for disclosing classified information. Now, he can try to hide behind the shield that he's in the press, and he might get away with that. But what he shared was gratuitous, unnecessary, and quite frankly, against the law. And he can't, in my view, he can't hide behind. Look, I've got access to information which is sensitive and privileged from a number of sources, and I don't reveal it. And I lose stories, and I lose subscribers, and I lose advertising revenue. But I have a duty and responsibility to be ethical. That was unethical what he did. That was immoral what he did, disclosing that information just to prove that he had the information. My first stop, if that had happened to me, if I had been invited into a group where there's classified information discussed, I would have called the Federal Bureau of Investigation and said, guys, I was on a Signal conversation tonight, which I was invited, and it appeared to be the Secretary of Defense and the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State, and they were discussing classified information. That's what I would have done. But no, this is just a jerk, that guy. Yeah, the ANC wants global equality. Good luck with that. You actually got to earn it. Equality is earned. Equality of opportunity is what everyone should have, but not quality outcomes. The amount of knowledge you have about South Africa is outstanding. Thank you if you're concerned about South African people who are updated. You're welcome, Immortal Wardle. Okay, thank you very much. Colonel, I need some information. I hear some people already went. Okay, I answered that, did I not, Bozzy? I'm behind the chat again. Bozzy, if I didn't answer, okay. Kevin says, one of two. Thank you. My thinking was simply have our names on the list and not to inundate the embassy with reasons. Well, that was my initial thought, Kevin, just to get it in there. But frankly, I don't care anymore. The embassy and the State Department deserve to be inundated. Thus, I'd like your opinion if we should just rather have our names without any. No, I would put a couple bullet comments in there. You don't have to write a novel. Don't write a page. But if you write a paragraph, this is my name. I have X number of family members, ages. I'm interested in coming to America under the Refugee Resettlement Program, and I've been discriminated in the following ways. Or we were attacked, my daughter was raped, my wife was murdered, I was denied a job, whatever the case may be. You can put a few things in there. As it turns out, the second person was interviewed. She's pretty confident the reason she came in is because the story that they told in their email, which led to a preliminary interview. But the preliminary interviews are probably already selected now, so sending it in now is not going to get you in. So don't think it's going to get you in. They were surprised they got called, and there's no promises. So they just have to wait to hear from people. But the fact that they were interviewed already may have given them a heads up, or a leg up on everybody else, so that they might be at the front of the queue. But I can't say that for a fact. Theo says, sorry, no need to apologize, Theo. You didn't know better. And Anthony von Blair just told you it indicates shouting. I got people telling me to stop shouting. I'm not shouting. But yeah, it's just chat protocol. That's all. No worries, Theo. People don't know better. We're very patient with that. Okay, Theo says, offering the same service for FD applications as Peru is currently doing. Okay, again, I don't know what you're asking, Theo. I don't know what you're asking, okay? Because I don't know what your basis for this. Your question is unclear. I'm going to make assumptions, and that could make an ass out of you and me, but I'm going to make assumptions. Theo, are you asking if other embassies around the world deal with refugees? The answer is yes, but the embassies don't do that. It's the Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration, PRM. They're the ones that do this, okay? They are the people responsible for it through the Refugee Admissions Program. So they send people to these countries, to Chad, to camps where Sudanese are living from Darfur, to Kenya, to the massive 650,000 people living in that big camp that's been over 30 years of Somalis. They send people to Uganda, where South Sudanese are at. They send people to wherever refugees are at. They interview them after they've already been processed by United Nations High Commissioner of Refugees in camps. And then they go from there. They do background checks. Now, if you're asking in South Africa, because I think I know what you're asking, but I also think you're asking in a bizarre fashion. Are you asking me, is the embassy in Pretoria the only place you'll be interviewed if you want to be in the refugee settlement program? I think that's what you're asking, Theo, but you're not being clear. So if that's your question, I will answer that question as I've done every single night a dozen times as people find a chat. So we do not know, but I fully expect, given the level of interest in this program, at least 500,000 people, 120,000 names submitted, some duplicate we can eliminate, but still hundreds of thousands of people, that the United States government will most likely, when it initiates this program, come up with several sites around South Africa so that they can interview people. It doesn't make any sense to expect people to come to Pretoria. First off, our consular section in Pretoria section is tiny. It's not there for you. The primary reason for the consular section in Pretoria is for U.S. direct hires and for the diplomatic community. All right? Much of our consular work is done in Johannesburg at number 1 Leila Khaled Drive. I mean Santa Drive. We have a consular section in Joburg, Cape Town, and Durban. Those 3 locations, either at the consular or at a off-site location, like, for instance, Kempton Park, Emperor's Palace, in the conference rooms, are likely to be places where we will have people sent to do interviews. Most likely. All right? So, Theo, I'm not sure what your question is. I think that's what your question was. But beyond that, we might send someone to PE or Uppington, because Bloemfontein is such a big country. So, I mean, you've got to articulate your question better. I'm not picking on you, Theo, but I can't answer a question that doesn't make any sense to me. I've answered it from the way you asked it, but I guarantee you that's not what you want to know about whether they do this around the world. All right, does that help? Cynthia Fundamental, welcome to you. Tennessee and wanting to run into the road. Sedgefield. Khan Hussein says, thanks for what you do for Afrikaners. It's not, okay, you're welcome, Khan Hussein, but it's not just for Afrikaners. I do it for South Africans. I do it for Africans. I do it for people all over the world. It's just that overwhelmingly the focus right now is on that, and that's why the channel is growing. But you're welcome. My pleasure. You listen to me every day. Thank you. Appreciate that, Connie. Middle lightning storm here. Ooh, light rain. Very dramatic indeed. Quid says, thanks, dude. At least you got what I was talking about. I just won't go to any links here and listen. Maybe it's better shot at getting appreciate understand what I was saying. Well, Quids, I didn't understand what you're saying because you weren't clear about it. You said the group that I posted, and I was talking about something else, and then your chat came up. So anyway, but we're straight, I guess. I think, okay, maybe Noda's watching. That's fine. Emails we got yesterday, they said they say something about yourself. Okay, oh, they said to say something. Okay, Elizabeth got an email from whom? Okay, see, that's unhelpful, Elizabeth. I'm not picking Elizabeth. Nick is just giving a super chat of 35 rand. His hamster. We'll get to your hamster in a minute. Okay, see, Elizabeth, your comment, I'm not picking you, is not helpful to me at all. The emails we got yesterday, from whom? Did you get an email from? The Amerikaners? The U.S. Embassy? The Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration? Chris Wyatt? I'm not picking on you, Elizabeth, but that's not helpful. I can't answer a question. All right, I can't address it. What emails? They said something about yourself. Tell something about yourself or your illness. That sounds like an email that came from Amerikaners telling you what you should say. Am I correct? That's my analysis. When my classrooms get too big, I lose control of students. So the more popular my class, the more frustrations I have to deal with. New students in fighting mayhem, basically. You're right, Pale Dragon. Tio says, because some U.S. embassies say no refugee emails will be accepted or dealt with by them. Okay. All right. Again, Theo, I don't understand where you're going. Are you writing to an embassy in Ireland about the refugee program in South Africa? Why would you do that? I don't know that you're doing that, but you're not telling me. You got me playing the $64,000 question. What are you getting at? Please tell me. Did you write to an embassy in Ottawa? Did you write to an embassy in Beijing, in Wellington? Did you write to an embassy? Dude, I'm trying to help you here, but you're not. You're just making this like rectal bleeding. Normally, you don't write to an embassy about this. The embassy has nothing to do with this. But as I've said over and over and over again, South Africa is a unique situation. It's not normal. You're not refugees. Not one of you is legally a refugee. None of you have fled from South Africa to a third country or to a second country to seek refuge. You haven't. So you're not even legally a refugee, but you're being granted refugee status out of the goodness of Donald Trump's heart. So, Pierre, you got to go. See you later. Theo, I'm trying to answer your question, but stop playing stump the chump. Tell me what you want. Did you write to an embassy outside South Africa and ask about the program? Of course they're not going to answer your question. The embassy's not there to answer your questions. Consular sections are to answer your questions, but if you're not an American, they're to answer your questions about a visa or about business, doing business in America, or about trade, or about the American Library. That's what the embassy's there for, not to answer your questions about refugee. That's not what they do. The State Department has an entire bureau that does this, PRM. All right, Light Rain says, but there's a big storm in Oregon. Okay. Well, Sir Raven, yeah, internet is expensive, but that's a gigabyte per second. That's unlimited data. I typically go through, 3 terabytes per month, probably, if not more. And then what would you pay for data if you're paying? It'd be a lot more than that. It also is my landline, and it's also my cable television. So it's all that. But still, over half that price is taxes and fees. It's ridiculous. Edward Scott, welcome to you. Yolandi Smith, Jan van Driel, the ticket. Oh, Yolanda, what? Oh, Rob offering to pay for my plane ticket. Well, what good is that going to do me since I'm never coming to South Africa again? It's nice of him, but I mean, if I'm not coming to South Africa, he's not going to have to pay me. But it was very nice of Rob. Thank you. NWA's back. I haven't seen you in a while. Okay. I am way behind this chat, man. There he is. Plane ticket. There we go. Vilma, what happens when you can't afford to go to the embassy? What do you mean? What happens, Wilma? I don't understand your question. What happens when you can't afford to go to the embassy? What are you talking about? Rob Ursoff offered to pay for my flight to South Africa, but I'm not coming anymore. Thank you, Bob Star, for subscribing. Will it help if the people that use Telegram leave the WhatsApp group? No, it's fine. You can be in both cycling journeys. Don't worry about it. You shouldn't have to adjust because people just stay where you're at. Rebecca, hello to you. Leandra Cecilia Highness, good morning. Been away a few days. Good to see you again. One of the other groups, just too much chatter and fighting. So, yeah, that's the problem. South Africans, Afrikaners in particular, you people bitch and bicker all the time. You're like a bunch of biddies, man. Ooh, that's going to piss some South Afrikaners off. But be honest with yourself. Oh, my gosh. The constant bickering and the whining and moaning that destroyed the chat in my channel a couple years ago. We just finally started blocking people because they were just being asses. So, oh, man. Just frustrating. Anyway, probably pissed someone off with that one. Ooh, that was out of bounds. Yellow card. I need to get a yellow card here. Hope the channel gets big enough to employ a few extra hands. Well, that's a long way from that, Rowan. Doink. That's inappropriate, buddy. That's inappropriate. When did you say that? At 12:38. Okay, I'm going to go back a ways over here. That's not appropriate. Don't be putting that in my chat. Okay, not appropriate. My moderators missed it. 12:38. No, that's inappropriate. Remove. I didn't report you and I didn't block you, but don't post stuff like that again, okay? Using the term necklace is not good, okay? We know what that means, okay? Colonel, all due respect, repetitive questions takes up time, which we convey more important information. So thanks for your time, pages. You're welcome, Antoinette. Saw last night on X that Ernst Rhodes had a conversation, I think, with Ben Shapiro. Yeah, no, Ernst Rhodes gives me interviews, but he never introduces me to Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson or any of those people, does he now? Yes, Dan Bailey, Wyoming is full. There is no room for any people to move there. Watching either from couch or TV. Hendo has the photographic proof. Nick, I don't need to know that. We will live in the mountains. Plenty of firewood for making bride cookies. We will hunt you down in the mountains, just like we hunt bear over there. Okay, Theo says a crap phone. Forgive me. Okay, I understand, Theo. I'm being patient, but I don't understand what your question is, brother. I think I answered. Maybe I didn't. So I appreciate it. So I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to answer your question, but I don't understand what your question is. Just like the lady a few months ago. I don't know what she's asking. If she can't afford to go to the embassy, what does she mean? I don't understand what she means. Rob said he would pay for my ticket, yes. And I told him it was $2,000. I always get blamed as well, but I never, as if the wallet was one. Okay. Okay, I'm catching up now. They leaked the bro chat. He lied about there being military plans. Doink? What are you talking about? So did the guy from Atlantic make all that stuff up? Was that fake chat? I don't doubt that. Okay. Are we there yet? We're working on it, Tomahawk. It's unclassified now. Was it always unclassified? Holden, you were on the radio program earlier tonight, weren't you? I think you showed up at the radio program and listened in. Yep. Again, if they shouldn't be having these conversations in chat, whether it's classified or not. It's sensitive information. Sensitive but unclassified. SBU in the State Department vernacular. Yeah, some reporters have no morals whatsoever, Chris. You're spot on there. Kevin says, thank you for taking time to ask questions. Okay, Kevin, I did answer your question. Whew, okay, got that one done. We got Quids. We got Kevin taken care of. Now we're trying to take care of Theo and the lady. Okay, Storm Chaser's going to get the passports. Okay, there you go. One step closer. Thank goodness I have my passport already, says Jason. Primal Boar. Info about your state. Washington looks... Oh, you're talking light rain. Okay. Bernice says, not sure this question answered. Do we need passports for all family members? Well, Bernice, we don't know. I've answered that many, many times. But you should expect to have passports. This is an unusual situation. Yep. I don't know why people don't want to get passports. People can't afford it. I don't know what to tell you about that. Marissa says Amerikaners has an outline to put in your email. But that's just their opinion. They didn't indicate the embassy told them to tell anybody to put anything there, so that's just their opinion. I'm not going to argue against it, but that's just their opinion. South Carolina. There you go, Christo. Far away from Wyoming. Go to South Carolina. EF has a gathering in Polokwane today. Landless people. Oh, usual crap. Amerikaners are really a blessing to us. God bless those ladies with the work that they're doing, says Heinrich. Okay. 223 likes, 261. Now we're at 400 people. Vilma Rasmus, how you doing, Vilma? I haven't passed your friend's name along yet. Johan Pratt, I want to know more about your military background. It sounds interesting. Like, did you fight in war or lead some groups? Yes, I did, Johan. Okay, let me just jump ahead and I got to come back. Johan at 1250, okay? Yeah, even just 40,000, one console would not be possible. There would be more sites, of course, yep. You answer me in your second half of your reply. All right, Theo, got it. So I guessed correctly. Nick wants to know about Henry the Hamster and death row. Well, I don't know what to tell you about Nick Henry. He's out of luck, man. He's SOL. Sean Rudman, Theo, I think he's asking if he's in another country and applying for refugee status in South Africa, and if he can be interviewed at the overseas embassy. No, he can't. He can't. You can't apply. You cannot apply from a third country unless they make some sort of exception, and we have no indication they're going to do that. That's not the law. The law says you must be, you must be in the place where we're processing the refugees, which would normally be outside the country, but not in some other country. I mean, in a normal situation, there'd be a war in South Africa. You'd flee to Botswana or Namibia. You'd be staying there in camps or hotels and accommodation. We'd send people there. They interview you. They do background checks, and then you leave from there. But you're leaving from South Africa, so you're going to have to get on a plane. Do you think the South African authorities are going to let you get on a plane without a passport? I mean, I think the question answers itself. Do you really think that South African customs and immigration are going to let you leave the country without a passport? They might. But what do you think? All right. So, I mean, unless C-17s are flying with armed security guards at the airport and controlling entry of the aircraft, which is highly unlikely. So, yeah. But no, you can't. That's why I think I divined it, Sean. I think like he's thinking, well, if I'm in Ireland, I go to Dublin, I ask the American Embassy about the program. They have nothing to do with it. They have nothing to do with it. They wouldn't know. They're not going to be able to help you. We give you the information. It's available right to the embassy in South. If you're in Ireland and you're there on a temporary work visa, right to the embassy in South Africa. Express your interest. If they call you in, then you better get your ass on a flight and fly to South Africa at your own expense to get your interview. And make sure you have a permanent address in South Africa. You actually live in South Africa, but you're just temporarily abroad doing work. It's my recommendation. There's not much more I can tell you until we know more. There was an email from Amerikaners. Okay, see, I guessed, right? Anthony, I had to guess the email from Amerikaners. Again, people, Elizabeth, you got to tell us where the information came from. Thank you for that, Anthony. So sad the EFF is attacking Iran. It seems like they just can't live well enough alone. Yeah, they're not bothering anybody. Yep. Oh, you like my interview with you? Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yes, 100% Chris, guidance for emailing your personal statement. Yep. Okay. That's what I thought. Thank you for that, guys. That's helpful. Jen Rudolph, morning. I did send an email to U.S. Embassy in Pretoria, but did not say what all I've been through. Didn't mention any of the things. Just I'm interested. I don't think it really matters, Jen. I don't know, because they're going to process people later on. Again, folks, my analysis of this, which I've been sharing since February 7th, is the following. It's February 10th with the email, because that's when they put the email address out. That email doesn't mean you're applying for the program. It doesn't mean you're going to get in the program. It doesn't mean they're going to use the data. It's just a place where that they were going to be inundated with messages. So they put an email address up there, so it goes into an account they created. So if they want to look at it, they can. Now, subsequently, I believe they looked at those email addresses. They pulled out some emails, read through a bunch of them, and then sent teams over to interview people for preliminary interviews. That doesn't mean that that's going to mean anything. It could. What's the harm and foul? What is it going to cost you right now to send an email there? A few minutes of your time? That's it. That's your decision. Not sending an email doesn't mean anything. Sending an email may not mean anything. We don't know. When the program is announced, they'll tell you how to do it, what forms you have to fill out, where you have to apply, where you go for an interview, if you get called, and they'll tell you all of that. But none of that exists. Do you understand my frustration with my government 2 months in? People coming on and asking questions that have no answers to them. I'm answering this best I can. Okay? So hopefully that helps. But yeah, Jen, I think you're fine, because I don't even know that email helps you. But if I were in your shoes, I'd send an email. We know it's legitimate, so send it. What do you got to lose? San Juan Islands, okay. That's beautiful out there. Email from Ralph Connors, did DM them on Telegram yesterday, still waiting for the reply. You DM'd who on Telegram? Gideon or Gordon? The embassy's not on Telegram, are they? When did the embassy get a Telegram account? We own a digital marketing agency. Would like to offer some help to you. If you'd like me to send you an email, please let me know to which email. Sure. Sure. That's great. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. I'm not sure how you can help me or what you're offering, but I'm happy to listen. I've got someone else who offered to do merchandise for me. And so, yeah. All right. So, yeah. Okay, so there's the email address. Please send it there. I'll try to get to it as quick as I can, but that's not so easy. But thank you for that offer. I appreciate that, Kevin. Okay. Matthew's saying just send a second email. Well, you might piss him off. You might not. Who knows? All right. Their question a few minutes ago was about my military record. I forget who asked the question. I'm trying to make sure I get through everybody's questions here. Hotful Biker has 4 choices. Wyoming is not one of them. Arkansas, yes. Carolinas, and not Wyoming. Okay, so that's really 2 choices. Family in Texas. Well, Kai, you just let them know if you get involved, okay? That's where you'd like to go. You have family there. Drunken Yoda's back, okay? Interstate 95. Oh, yeah, that's a busy route, particularly from New York to North Carolina. Just want to double check. So ATM, the best we can do is pop a small email to the link in the embassy website and wait. That's the best you can do. Thank you. Chronic, Chronic Ways, you just explained everything perfectly. You can ask any questions you want of me. I mean, you can ask the Americaners any question. You want to do research, but I mean, until you know that you're in the program or where you're going or when the program's available, the rest of it's just, getting your documents ready. If you've got money, moving it where you need to move it, that sort of thing, was trying to understand these questions, but he said you answered already. Which question, Sean? Which question? Email came in. They have a guideline for what they say in email to the embassy. Yep. Thank you, Liz. Your meet and greet schedule from 2 years ago keeps popping up on YouTube. Really? Okay, Helen, that video is still out there? Elizabeth said my answer is above. Okay. I don't see your question. Sorry, Elizabeth, I don't see it. If I qualify as a refugee, I probably would want to go to Montana. That's nice out there. Yeah, you're not going on holiday. Pack a bag and don't look back. Just asking if I'm in USA, can I sponsor a friend from UK whose daughter is in Canada? Just no. Smart aleck. Okay. You answered all questions, Chris, except how to understand a woman. Please be patient. From the looks of it, the first batch of people will be about 300,000. We'll see. Bobster, in my opinion, every single person should have their passport, whether you're planning to travel. Exactly. It's a no-brainer for me, Bobster. I don't know how people in the 21st century don't have passports. Saw this happen a couple times tonight. Internet issues. Yeah, James. Okay. I need to go, but wanted to say thank you for answering my questions and just being awesome. Well, you're very welcome, Kevin. Thank you for your patience with me. A chronic question, I think I just have to understand how badly people want out. Well, I get it. I've been to South Africa. I get it. I also understand why people want to stay. In your opinion, do you think South Africa can survive mass migration? No, it cannot. Xavier Grayling, if the South African government doesn't stop the nonsense and attacking Trump, and if Trump and the administration come out with this plan and they start taking people out of South Africa will collapse. It will collapse. These are the people who expressed interest, many of whom are skeptical and scared to put their name out there, to contact anybody. Yet look, 67,042 people contacted the South African Chamber of Commerce, even after they said, don't send us emails. 67,000, representing at least 275,000 people. And that's just white people, mostly, who said, I want out. Imagine the coloreds and the Indians and some blacks who want out. Yeah, no, South Africa won't survive this. And if you're worried about America's absorptive capacity, we have 30 million illegal criminal aliens we're getting rid of right now. So, yeah, we can certainly handle it. We took 162,000 Afghans in a couple of weeks, which exceeded our entire annual quota back in 2021. So, we certainly have the absorptive capacity. Yep. Watch a silly movie like Airplane. That's a good idea. Okay, question was about my military career. Okay, do you guys want to hear about my military career? Let's do a poll. Okay. Okay, there's a poll. I asked yesterday with Ernst if anyone knows of a coup plan for May, July. It will be discussed. Yeah, there's rumors of that nonsense. I heard you put that in your Pyroheimer yesterday. I don't think about that. That's people are just saying stuff. Mark Keeper Torius saw my Biz News interview. Yeah, I thought I looked rather sedate and calm, like somebody give me a sedative. Yeah, you're very welcome, Xavier. I'm not someone that worries a lot. The problem comes with the future of our daughter. I'm not understanding where you're going with that. Maybe instead of the State Department for Refugee question, maybe U.S. Citizen Immigration Services, DHS. Huh? Tell us some of your missions. The reason why most South Africans don't have passports is that some haven't the income to go abroad, Colonel Uncle Wyatt. Okay, but why do people keep leaving my stream to go to work? People keep going, I got to go to work, I got to go to work, got to work. Even on the weekend, got to go to work. Somebody's got money. Is there anything I can do now to better my chance to get an interview? I see in the media that people have showed interest in people getting interviewed. How do I get in the list? Okay, well, welcome to the program. You obviously haven't been here for the last hour. Team Venture just gave 5. You haven't been here for the last hour. Well, you're going to have to wait for that answer. No, there's nothing you can do other than send an email to the embassy. That's all you can do. There's no program. And I've answered this question. Well, it's not a no-brainer. Some people don't want to hear it. See, Volmarans is at work. Get to the choppa. Yeah, people don't want to hear it. I mean, there's 15% of the people don't want to hear it. So that's 22 people don't want to hear about my military career. See? So some people don't want to hear it. You email the State Department, receive no reply. Are you talking about me, Holden? Okay, see, that doesn't help. Is that directed to me? Because you didn't put at Chris Wyatt, or at me, you didn't put there. So are you saying I emailed the State Department and got no reply? Black Monday in Pretoria tomorrow. They say it's also to welcome the new ambassador. Well, that's news. There's no new ambassador yet. That's premature. That's premature. But I appreciate they want to do it. He's a nominee. Has to be approved yet. Antoinette has to go to work. See? Yeah, unabridged birth certificates, kids. That's true. Late today, took the grandkids to school. Okay, Art Dodd, good to see you there. If you're in the intel environment, would info like I'm asking about be quiet? Quite to limit hysteria. He kept quiet? I have no idea. Hey, Herman, what's going on? Okay. So Crystal Properties, I will answer your question. There's nothing you can do to better your chances other than contact the State Department, and maybe you'll get on the list of people that come in for the early. But I'm pretty sure they've picked all the people they're going to talk to over the few weeks they're doing it. And then the real interviews won't start until whenever they're ready to do the program, once it's promulgated and approved by the president. We have no idea when that's going to be. No idea when that's going to be. Okay? Says how my sector had gone all race-based, lost 70% of revenue, removed from databases, many institutions, because I'm not untransformed. Oh, Xavier, it's terrible. I have one, was on my way for H-2A visa, but I'm not I person that I will pay extra money. What are you saying, Bram? I don't know what Jeffrey Sachs' view on the Ukraine war is. I just know what his view on poverty is, and it's stupid. He's a smart guy, but he's stupid. Who's lying? Who's lying, Francois? Okay, so I'm not really sure what Holden Caulfield's asking, so I'm going to address that. I did contact the State Department, but not the embassy. I never contacted the U.S. Embassy. I contacted the State Department. I called them because I know who to call. I called the people responsible for the U.S. Embassy in South Africa, the part of the State Department that oversees them. And I asked to speak to someone about whether they were sending emails out to people. They held me on the phone. They transferred me to someone else and who does with public relations. I explained who I was. I said a retired colonel, and you got people asking this question. I'm trying to make sure there's no fraud being committed here because the embassy hasn't told people. Is the embassy sending it out? And they said, and I said, I'm also a journalist. I'm trying to make sure the word gets out so America doesn't get bad reputation for bad information getting out there. They said, send an email to this address and we'll get back with you. Well, I did. But I also CC'd a friend of mine who's a retired lieutenant colonel who's a State Department Foreign Service officer who's been working at the State Department for 20 years. And I didn't know if he was even there anymore because I haven't talked to him in like 3 or 4 years. And he was. He retires in a few weeks. So he got the email. He says, hey, Chris, I saw your email. I don't know anything about it, but it looks a little strange, but I'll let the embassy and the public affairs guys answer. And they never got back with me 2 weeks ago. Very disrespectful, very rude, and very short-sighted. And I will castigate the State Department for its failure to have the common courtesy to answer a veteran on a question like this and a journalist. And then I will do a Freedom of Information Act to piss them off so they have to spend the time to give me the information they failed to provide as a courtesy. They could have at least directed me somewhere. So there's the answer to that, Holden Caulfield. Watched the other day. It's a massive achievement to get the colonel level in the Army. Explained all the ranks. I must say, wow. Oh, it's even more difficult than you think, Marcel. For some of us, it's a lot of money because your paycheck is not enough to look, Erica, I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that. But you put 10 Rand aside this month, you put 10 Rand aside next month, you put 10 Rand aside next month, and after so many months, you have enough money and you go get a passport. Anyway, I don't know what to tell you. If they require passports and you're in such a desperate state to South Africa that you can't get out of the country because you can't come up with 600 Rand for a passport, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. You don't have family. You don't have friends. You can't beg in a street corner. Don't take offense. I mean, it doesn't sound like people here are very desperate. It sounds like they're just going on holiday. We're going to immigrate. We're going to come to the States. Make a plan. Make a plan. I don't know the answer to the question. And I get asked that 1,000 times. How did anybody think that you can leave a country without a passport? I don't understand that. Maybe you can. But that's not normal. Hey, Pierre Orban, what's going on, man? Bossy Bossum. Again, I'm not telling anybody to go get a passport. Don't get a passport. But don't complain to me about it. I can't do anything to help you. I can't pay for 50,000 people's passports. So, I mean, don't complain to me about the passport costs if you can't afford it. And if you can't afford it, don't ask me if you need one. Obviously, you're not going to go get one, so why are you asking the question? I don't understand that at all. Are you asking questions so you can complain? You're going to be, oh, damn, I can't get a passport, so I guess I can't go. I don't understand the question, man. Thank you, Marcel. Yeah, back in the day when he was younger, he was a good economist, but he lost his mind. Yeah, I don't know who's writing the list, but YouTube gives out memberships, not the people who buy them. And I have nothing to say with it. And if you buy 10 memberships for somebody, you gift it, you have no say. YouTube picks them at random. And it's people that normally in the chat. So some people get exposed because they're being quiet in the chat. Suddenly they got a membership. I'm like, whoa, what's this? Sven Handyman. Okay, you're off to work. Okay. Okay. One passport equals 12 packs of cigarettes. Yeah, there you go. Holden says, so the State Department doesn't have an official statement, then immigration wouldn't either. Holden, I don't understand what you're talking about and why you've got a sad face there. Dude, you're tonight, I don't understand your questions at all. Maybe I need to get some alcohol here because I don't understand what you're getting at. Yeah, Folk Funk says the best place to get the info is in this channel, so log in and listen every morning. There you go, every week. David borrowed $75 his passport sorted. Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't understand, Erica. I didn't understand the question. Sorry. Okay. And Grams Kelly's point is just like an ID card, everyone should have one. Yep, you should. You should. Anyway, so I'm ending the poll. 252 people voted, and 83% of the people want to hear about my military career. That means that 16% don't. That's 32, and another 8 is 40 if you don't want to hear about it. Well, that's hurtful. That's hurtful. That's hurtful. Marcel knows people 30 years old don't even have a driver's license. Well, proud Neanderthal. I mean, when it's time, if there is a time and people are going to go, I don't know why people are freaking out. It's not hard to establish back-a-buddy campaigns to raise money to give to people so they can get their passport. But you run a lot of risk there, you know. But anyway, so there are so many ways to figure it out. And people just want people to spoon-feed them. Here, give me this. Give me this. Give me this. Okay. No thought and ingenuity whatsoever. So around here, people leave aluminum cans on the street. I pick them up when I'm walking. I typically take in cans and get $80 to $150 from aluminum cans. Price of my gasoline, my petrol to go there and drop it off is only about $4 or $5. So that's $100 some dollars. That pays for my passport. I mean, look, that's just one example. There are ways to make money legitimately. There are ways to pay for things. So I don't want to get into it. I don't want to argue with people. I'm just, we're the country of hustlers. You don't want to hustle for passport. Don't cry later when you realize you could have cut back on something to gain money for. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's in America. I had a family member who had a son, and the family member was pleading poverty. But the family member is getting a disability check from Social Security. The family member's son was carrying a $1,200 iPhone, and I had a $200 disposable phone that I had. And I'm active duty in the Army. At the time, I was a lieutenant colonel or a major. And that family member had a $1,200 iPhone for a 12-year-old. I have family members who had satellite television and cable, had both, and then pled poverty. Well, no wonder. You're irresponsible with your spending. I'm not saying anybody here is irresponsible, okay? Don't take that because, gosh, I'll start getting flames because people hear what they want to hear. I didn't say that. I'm just saying that when push comes to shove, you have to make decisions, okay? No offense, I'm military, but I'm just so over all the war, conflict, and fighting, wishing for peace. Well, I'm not going to talk about wars, Wesley. Oh, see, Trevor can go get his new passport. Oh, Trevor, multipass. Leilu Dallas, multipass. The Fifth Element, quite a great movie. Even better, subscribe and join this channel. Pay for the rich, info, help out there. Yep. Okay, I have no work, no income, but trust me, I made a plan to get a passport. There you go. And list the things the USA sent out. Go read the part under passports. I'm not going to say anything. Bram, say something. Okay, now you got people curious. What did it say? The list of things USA... The USA didn't send anything out. So what are you talking about the list of things USA sent out? What are you talking about, Bram? What did the USA send? Nothing. All they did was put a list of questions out here. Okay. There's no step here about passports. They asked for... So, Bram, what are you talking about? What list was set? Whoops. Ooh, thank goodness the lid was on top of that. Gosh bless it. What list the U.S. sent out? The U.S. didn't send anything out, brother. What are you talking about? All right. Michelle did extra things. There you go. $50 phone. Mother was smashed the other night. Well, that sucks, James Lynch. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, military was part of the last compulsory intakes back in the day. Ah, Storm Chaser. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Refugees are normally in the crap, don't have money, and therefore I believe passports won't be a requirement, but you can make a plan to get one. Wilcox, or was it Wilcox? Willocks? Yes, refugees who flee from one country to another under fire and artillery and gender-based violence typically have all they have on their back. Oftentimes have no documents whatsoever. That is not the case in South Africa. So it's not unreasonable to expect that they might have required for passport. We don't know. We don't know. Well, Chronic, you're saying your people are bloody hard workers, but I got people keep complaining they can't get passport. Doesn't sound like hard workers to me. All right. Okay, so let's get off that nonsense. Stop talking about that, okay? All right, so I was asked the question, was it Marcel Kolk, I think, earlier? Hey, CJ Maggie, got our passports long ago because I wanted to get out in the U.S. before the possible refugee program, so we have valid visas. Had to side hustle the crap to get anything to make money. Yeah, exactly. I wonder how we're going to get cell phones and SIM cards. Here we have to Rika the SIM. Will we be eligible to get SIM? Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. Anybody can buy a SIM phone or buy a cell phone in America. You're lucky. You're coming, if you come now, you're coming when we've switched to GSM, finally. Decades behind the rest of the world. Only T-Mobile had GSM 25 years ago when I got my account. I've had an account for, 24 years. It was with VoiceStream, and then T-Mobile bought them out because they were GSM, and T-Mobile wanted to enter the U.S. market. So they bought the only GSM carrier in America, which was VoiceStream. And I bought a VoiceStream phone through Amazon because I wanted GSM. And so most of the carriers have GSM now. Not all. They used to have CDMA, the Code Division Multiple Access, which was a big moneymaker for the chip makers that came up with it. But now we've gone from CDMA to almost exclusively GSM. So yeah, you're in a time, you just go to Walmart and you buy a prepaid phone for $30 or whatever, and you put some airtime on it and you're good to go. There's no digital registration for that crap. That's some comedy bullshit that's all over Africa. How safe would we be in South Africa when the World War III breaks out? Total sellout. I can't tell you that. I mean, how safe? Where are you at? What's going on? How are you defended? Where do you live? Can't really talk about refugee status without being attached, let alone ask for money if people are moaning about no money for passports because they're living on bread and situation extreme. Okay, Sariana, you're correct. But what's your point? What's the point of asking the question and moaning about it in the chat? It can't be fixed for a mystical date that we don't know about. So let's just chill and worry about it when the time comes. For people who don't bother to make a plan or can't come up with a plan in the meantime. Lizelle von Skalkvik says, watching this and cringe at some of the questions, comments you're getting from South Africans. We're not like that. Really, Lizelle? I didn't think South Africans were like that either. But look what the questions I'm getting. Look at the questions I'm getting. And look at the response I'm getting from some people. So, yeah. Well. Lindy says her passport photo. Curly hair. They cut the top off my hair. It looks like I'm wearing a black cap. Oh, my goodness. And you're stuck with it for 10 years. That sucks. Actually, I'm pretty happy with my passport photo. The last one I didn't like because it was at the embassy in Uganda and it freaking sucked. This one's not bad. So, that's not bad. Got a beard in it. Wait till I shave it off, then it won't let me in. Yeah, that's my recent one. So, all right. Okay, so I agree with you. Those that want to go must go. Make a plan. Okay. See, Russia couldn't destroy utility grade. Now they're asking ESCOM. That's funny. Reminds me of the minority squatter camps, bigger TV satellite than we had in our own home. That's when we stopped donating food and clothes. Absolutely disgusted. Look, folk funk, there are genuine people, and some in the chat here who are really hurting. It's a fact. Can't deny that. And I'm not rubbishing people who live in poverty. What I am telling you is that I've lived in poverty, and I know how people get into poverty for a lot of reasons. And it's a trap that you get yourself into. It's hard to get out of. Sometimes through your own making. Oftentimes you have no comment, but it just happens. But you've got to not allow it to drag you down. They say if you really look like your passport photo, you're in trouble. Okay. All right. Cool beans. All right. My military career. Are we going to lose 15% now? We're 413 people. This question was asked about 20 minutes ago, so I'm going to answer it now, okay? Okay. You look like your police file, says Sean Spence. Okay. Hey, Bertie Karen Fenter, welcome to you. Okay, so we're not making this out of that 51st state, trust me. Military career. Okay. All right. So I went to university at the age of 17. I was living in rural Appalachia and ran a dairy farm with Jerseys and Guernseys, mostly Jerseys. And we sold milk and we sold butter. We made butter. So, yeah. I left for university. I had no money. So in high school, one of my teachers said to me, so where are you going to go to college? And I looked at him like, college? I haven't got money. How can I go to college? And he said, well, you should go to the guidance counselor's office. They have grants for people who are in poverty. They have loans, student loans, maybe scholarships. You can go to school. There's a means to do it. So I hadn't really thought about going to college. He said, you're a smart kid. You should go to college. And then one of my other teachers who inspired me, so that was David Kunkler. The other was Larry Householder. Larry Householder taught government and social studies. Kunkler taught Latin and world history and world religions. Householder in my class also encouraged me. I know they must have talked in the teacher's lounge. They encouraged me. So as a junior in high school, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll go to college. So I applied. I applied to Purdue, to Central State University, and to Ohio University. Purdue was out of Ohio, and it was free to apply. That was key because I had no money to apply. Then I applied to Central State, which was also free. It's historically black college university. So Central State, located near Dayton, Ohio, was excited. I'm white. They didn't have enough students, and they were going to lose some federal assistance, so they didn't up the percentage of whites because it was too low. So they were excited to have me, even though I wasn't a particularly good student in high school. And then where I really wanted to go was Ohio University, but there was a $25 application fee. I didn't have $25. My mother didn't have. My stepfather was a prick. He wouldn't give it to me. So what do? Well, I told my high school guidance counselor where I really wanted to go. Thank you, Peter Bodenhorst, for describing. And my high school guidance counselor picked up the telephone, called Ohio University. Yes. I think the guy's his name was McGonigal or something like that, was the guidance counselor. Yes, I have a student here at the high school. He's a good student, but very poor and doesn't have the means to pay for the admission fee, $25. Is it possible to waive it for him? And they waived the application fee. Ohio University waived my $25 application fee in 1981, which allowed me to apply to Ohio University, and I was accepted. So then I went through the books and the things about financial aid and grants, and I found out there was a federal grant, which was called the Basic Income Grant. It was renamed the Pell Grant that year. And then there was an Ohio grant. So the Pell Grant was $1,800 maximum, which I qualified for, got it all. The Ohio Instructional Grant was $900, qualified, got it all. It's $2,700, still not enough to go to school. I applied for a student loan, maximum was $2,500, eligible, got $2,500. And with that money, I was able to go to university for freshman year. I got there, but I had no money for things. You know, I was able to pay for my meal plan. You get 3 meals a day. You can eat all you want in the dining facility. And I was like freaking, I was skinny as a rail, ate like crazy. So you had a dining facility, and then I paid for my billeting, my room and board, and I paid for my tuition and my books. The books were expensive. And I did 1 year, but I didn't pay much attention in class. I was really not focused. And after a year, by the spring quarter, it's like, I'm wasting other people's money. I'm not really ready for this. It's time to go do something else and come back when I'm ready. Plus, I need money. It's difficult. I was working part-time in the cafeteria, making minimum wage, trying to make money because I didn't have enough money. It was frustrating. So I looked, and I wound up enlisting in the Army. I went into the Signal Corps. And I left university in 1983 and went to basic training in Missouri. And then from there, I went to advanced individual training in the Signal Corps in Fort Gordon in Georgia. And from there, my first assignment was in Germany during the Cold War. And in Germany, I went from a private to sergeant. And then I decided to go back to university, went back to university and went through officer training at Ohio University again, fixed my grades and graduated with honors. And then came back in as an intelligence officer, which was very difficult to achieve because I'm male and females were blocked from combat roles at that time. So women couldn't serve in the infantry, the artillery, combat aviation, or special forces, things like that. So they can only serve in the combat support roles or combat service support. So combat support was intelligence, and so we had an overabundance of female officers. So chances of getting intelligence as a cadet were very low compared to if I asked for infantry, would have got it. If I'd asked for armor, I would have got it. If I asked for quartermaster, would have got it because I was a high performer. But even as a high performer, my chance of getting intelligence were low. But I was such a high performer that I got my first choice, which is intelligence. So I went to the intelligence basic course. And then while I was there, wound up spending a little extra time there because some other reasons, administrative reasons. I left there and then went to Germany. Arrived in Germany in an armor unit, in the most advanced armor unit in the entire U.S. Army just by happenstance. And Quids just gave a membership to Peter Gröbler. Thank you for that. So thank you, Bram, for sending me the email. I'll check on that. Peter Gröbler, congratulations on your membership. You can thank Quids for that. So I arrived in Germany and went on training exercise right after I got there at the training center, and the artillery went to the artillery ranges first, or the armor ranges first, did our tank tables, and then came back to the training center from there. And then we did a training exercise, came back from that. And shortly after that, I got alerted and sent on the advance party to Saudi Arabia to prepare for our troops being sent to the Gulf War. Went to the Gulf War. I'll talk about that some other time. Came back from the Gulf War, then spent a lot of time in Germany after that, and wound up becoming the subject matter expert for the former Yugoslavia. Everyone all over Europe turned to me because I knew about it. Also amassed a whole collection of maps, which were eventually used by the 1st Armored Division to go into Bosnia. And no one else had maps because I started collecting them because I saw what was coming. Anyway, was alerted to go to Somalia, got pulled back at the airport last minute before I flew to Somalia. I was fine with that. And then just before I left to go back to the advanced course for intelligence, I was about to be sent to Rwanda during the genocide there. But we stopped. We didn't send anybody initially, so that didn't happen. So I focused on Africa quite a bit in that role, even though I was in Germany. Went back to the advanced course, then was sent because I was a high performer off to teach ROTC in a select program because they were short 900 captains in the Army. I taught at Iowa State for 2 years, taught sophomores, and then I was a senator, and I also did a master's degree program there in which I worked on the housing subsidy program in South Africa, writing a thesis about how the program that the ANC created in 1994 was inappropriate. It was designed for people over a certain income would get a grant. And I said, that's stupid. It shouldn't be based on income. It should be based on need. So the reason for that is the male is off in the Witwatersrand, up there earning money, living in a hostel, sleeping with prostitutes, drinking all the money away. He gets money to buy a house, and he squanders it. He doesn't need the money. His wife with the 3 kids back in KZN living below the Drakensberg, they need the money for a house, and they had certain needs for gender, sex, age, for abolition units, for space living, all that stuff. So I came up with a very complicated formula using a regression analysis. Oh God, it still hurts my head to talk about regression analysis 30 years later. And I put it all together in a thesis. And my focus, I had 3 subject areas. Community and regional planning. Show me an Army officer that is an expert or subject matter expert in community and regional planning. That's something leftists do. I know that. Show me an Army officer that spends time in cultural anthropology. I can show you some, but not many. And show me an Army officer that has expertise in international political economy. I had all those. So I put my committee together. My major professor was on there. I was working with him, working with a guy that used to be in Cape Town, did a housing survey there, using that data for my thesis. Then I was sent early away from there to go off to prepare for my next assignment. And so I didn't finish the academic year. So I was left hanging on my thesis, and I had to try to coordinate it from a distance. Quids just gave another super chat. Is that correct? Thank you for that, Quids. I went off to the staff course, the Combined Armed Services Staff course at Fort Leavenworth, excuse me. Reginald, thank you for that. A gifted membership, Reginald, from Quids. And I worked on my thesis there, and then I went off to the course. And from there, I went to the counterintelligence officer course. Then I was sent to Italy, where I was a counterintelligence commander. While in Italy, I was responsible for all counterintelligence coordination in Southern Africa for the U.S. Army. So I dealt with the CIA, I dealt with the FBI, I dealt with all the Italian intelligence services. And while I was there, I was deployed to Bosnia. I spent about, 7 months in Bosnia on a 3-month tour. And I dealt with that. I was in charge of all the counterintelligence, human intelligence in Bosnia. From there, I left. But while I was there, I also dealt with Task Force Hawk and the Albania mission. Anyway, so I left there, went to California, where I went to the Language Institute, and I learned French. From there, I went to Tunisia, where I was a student in the École d'État Major, that's the staff college, and spent over a year in Tunisia working at the embassy as an attaché. Left there, went to the National Security Agency, worked there, and became chief of staff of a $3 billion program. Then requested that I be sent back to the Foreign Area Officer program. Rare that they approved it. They did approve it. And Quids just gave 5 more memberships. And then I was the chief of staff of a $3 billion program, 60 billion rand, and had a global enterprise of about 8,500 people working for me. And from there, I went to the Defense Intelligence Agency, where I was an intelligence analyst for Southern Africa. Then I was the branch chief for Southern and Central Africa. Then I was the deputy division chief for all the Africa division, and I wrote 1,200 intelligence products of various types, short things to long, detailed analytical reports. And while there, I wrote presidential daily briefs for the President of the United States, including one that kept 640,000 black Africans from starving to death in Southern Africa. From there, I went off to Liberia, where I was the chief of the Defense Cooperation Office and then Security Cooperation Office under EUCOM, European Command, then Africa Command. I rebuilt the Armed Forces Liberia team of 650 that worked for me there, spent $250 million roughly on that program, and built a brand new army for Liberia that was responsive to civilian government and was lawful and was moral. And I left there, went to Botswana, and I proposed redesigning the intelligence infrastructure for Botswana so it would focus on defense intelligence instead of spying on Zimbabweans and on government officials and Botswana. And everyone bought off on it. We did that. Had a great time in Botswana. Also was based in Malawi. And then subsequently based after Malawi, I went to the attaché course and then was supposed to go to Chad, got diverted to Germany, worked at the Africa Command, where I oversaw the Southern Africa Division. And then from there, I was sent to Niger, where I established Office of Security Cooperation and got that program up and running, and then later sent to Mauritania, where I established the Office of Security Cooperation in Mauritania, got that program up and running. And from there, I later was sent to Uganda, where I ran an existing program as a full colonel at this time. At this time, I got promoted to full colonel. And from there, I went to Ethiopia, where I worked the U.S. mission to the African Union for Ruben Brigidi, my ambassador, who was recently ambassador in South Africa. From there, I was sent back to the Army War College to be the director of African Studies. And there you go. That's none of the gore, none of the grime, none of the horror. I've got multiple combat tours. I've got awards that just out the wazoo. So that's a little bit about my military career. All right. Is that what people are looking for? Is that helpful? Everybody got a late start this morning. Feel a bit under the weather. Sorry, do you feel under the weather? Emil Monroe, what's going on? And again, if you work hard enough to be successful, you must give away half your business to Notable. James was born in 83. Trust, I want to, okay. Marcel, there you go. I agree. Some people are simply not listening and check Chris's previous chats and videos, ask things a million times, and despite answers I may give. Yeah, no. I mean, the only answer I need is at some point I just simply ignore the chat or I turn the chat off. So then we'll really see how many people actually want to listen to me, how many people actually care. People go listen to people that are idiots that don't know what they're doing, never said anything, never accomplished anything in their entire life, and they watch them religiously. And that's fine. I suspect that probably a big chunk of this audience will disappear as soon as they get what they want. I could be wrong. I'm not maligning anybody here. But the fact that people aren't listening to what I say and asking the same damn questions over and over again when I've answered it, and sometimes it's people I know have heard the question because they were here. I suspect a lot of people go, but that's fine. You're not ankle chained to this channel. No one's forcing anyone to be here. I'm grateful that people are watching it. Thank you for it. Hopefully we'll keep growing the program, and hopefully you find it compelling. But if you don't, that's your prerogative. It's your data. It's your time. It's your life. It's your sand. It's going through the hourglass. So that's on you. But I have a strong suspicion that once this thing is up and running and people start leaving South Africa, that my channel will go back into the freeze and we'll have a small audience again. And you know what? That's fine if it happens, because I didn't do this for fame or glory or wealth. I did this to help people. And if people don't want help, that's on them. Also did deliver the truth. I think you'll be hard pressed to find anyone who is objective about their news reporting and fair as I am, especially with their guest. But anyway, I'm sure there are people like it out there, but I don't see a lot of them. Steve says, going to college is a struggle, but when you look back at all the struggles it made the man. Well, yeah, Steve, but college was a struggle on my part. It was self-inflicted. I wasn't really ready for university at 17, but I was just trying to get away from my childhood, so which was not pleasant. So, but I have no regrets. That first year at college, I have no regrets. I have great memories. I was introduced. It's the first time I ever went to a concert. I went to Michael Stanley Band. I went to Neil Young. I went to, who else did I go to? Another one. First time I ever went to a concert in my life. It's actually, you used to sit in line for tickets back when there was no Ticketmaster. You'd stand in line for hours and hours, wait for the tickets to come open. I actually did that. Here's my spot. And you stay there, hang out, drink from a flask, chill. Then someone else comes, they take it for a few hours. You go to class, you come back and keep your spot. Did that. Otherwise, I never would have had that experience. Now you go on Ticket Shyster and you try to pick tickets. You pay like half the price and fees to those criminals. No regrets. Played sports there, had a good time. All right. The White Pretoria is spiraling into rubbish dump and homelessness shelter is incredible. Wherever I can, I want to make a better future for myself, says Jason. Gideon says, I keep missing the donated gifts. Yeah, Gideon, it's a bit of a tough one, man. Sorry about that. But it's automatically done by YouTube. The content creator and the donor has no say in it. Some people like Matthew Dixon just keep getting free memberships all the time. It's like he knows somebody. The sewer is running through the streets of Pretoria Central Business District. That's crazy. When will you be writing a book? Well, I've written 2 books, but I've contributed 2 books. But you mean a book about something? I was working on a fictional book, a novel, but I haven't had time since this stuff kicked off. So I don't know when I'll write a book. We'll see. Erica Strauss is still here. Good to see Erica. We have something called the Greenbelt, which is a little river that runs all the way through the suburb. Andre Rue, welcome to you. Ronel Henrico, welcome to you. Enrico. Okay, Steve Newbold, coffee in hand. Okay. And all the people just got these memberships. The Amerikaners are very busy sending emails. The embassy in Pretoria is too busy to do that unless there's an update. Okay. Yes, Tom Hawk. Boer Planbach, huh? Thank you, Rod. That's why I'm also worried. I believe Jesus will walk before I walk. Okay. Wow, really way behind here. Come on. Okay. Amen. Okay. For a nation who usually prides itself by saying a Boer complainer, surprising amount of crying about money and passports. Make a plan, says Charles. Yeah, cut back and make a plan. And he still has humility. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, Stella 4, I didn't even go into a thousandth of the things that I did in uniform and accomplished. Occasionally people ask me to show all my medals and stuff, and I do that occasionally, but not very often. But here, for those of you who don't see it in the video, let me see if I can find it. This isn't even all my medals because this is before I retired. Let me see if it's here. Just find that picture of me in uniform. Okay. I wish that was the new subscribers. It's great that it's people signing up, but I really wish there were subscribers jumping on there. Where the heck is this at? Oh, this is frustrating. Come on. I thought this was in this folder. I know where it might be if it's not here. No, it's not there. That's for darn sure. Okay, I know where to look if it's not there. Let's go to here. We'll go to pictures. Pictures. Okay, Chris Army. Let's see if it's in there. No, that picture's not in there. I'll be darned. Huh. Maybe it's here. Okay, there you go. There's one. Where you at? Come on. Okay, I'm looking. Oh, I just had it. Now it got away from me. Trying to find this photograph for you guys. Oh, come on. How did I find it? Now I can't. That's bizarre. Come on. I hate this. Okay, here's one picture. This is incomplete. These aren't all my medals. So, oh, come on. Okay, so here you go. So here is, this is in Niger. This is about, I don't know, well, this is about 7 or 8 years before I retired. So there you go. Geez, how many people gave up memberships there? Good. Oh, these are subscribers. Wow, what's going on there? People are subscribing. Thank you for the subscriptions. All right, so there you go. So that's in Niger. I was being interviewed by television in French. I got to turn that alert box off. It's become a bit much. So there you can see. So people always ask about decorations. So on that side, on the left-hand side, we see the blue thing. That's my regimental crest for military intelligence. And then there's 4 unit awards. I was in units that were awarded decorations 4 times. Valorous Unit Award for combat against the Republican Guard in the Gulf War. That's the red, white, and blue men, one above my name tag. Then the other is a presidential citation. I received a presidential citation for contributing to the success during the war on terrorism at the National Security Agency, at the Defense Intelligence Agency, and then also at the U.S. Africa Command. All 3 of them were awarded a presidential citation during the period that I served there for things that we did to contribute to the war against terrorism. Coincidentally, I could have been at different times and not gotten those awards. I just happened to be there at the right time and contribute. The decorations on the other side are individual awards and campaign ribbons and things like that. When you see accoutrements on there, it means multiple awards or different things. So that's incomplete. That's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. That's 19 ribbons there with about 40 different awards total. So yeah, and that's incomplete. I have Legion of Merit and other things came after that. So anyway, people are always asking about that. So there you go. So I showed it to you. All right. Let me see, get to go see what plan I can make today. I need those passports. Okay. All right. June Holtzhausen, fantastic. Okay, some of us have to stay to let Chris know what's going on over here. Yeah, Vilma, that's right. How am I going to know what's going on if everybody leaves? Only a small number of people are going to leave. Derek Bain just gave 140 Rand super chat. Thank you for it, Derek. My wife is Korean, and many of our non-SAPers are still praising the rainbow, but slowly people are realizing the truth, at least in our circle. Hopefully soft power truth spreads. Yeah. Joel Pollack extends well wishes to U.S. Ambassador. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. Yes, so many decorations. Yes, Stella. Yeah, no, well, it's a long career. I did quite a bit, and a lot of times I did things that weren't even recognized. So whatever. It's life. Corey emailed you an interesting email. Okay, Corey, thank you for the 14 Rand super chat. Okay. The act applies to land, building, other assets, legitimate public. What's this? Government, what kind of land can be expropriated? Any land. Any land, Jan. Any property can be expropriated. It's not about land. Shall pledge support for the colonel if and when reselling this. Okay. Okay. What does those lapels mean on your army jackets? Left breast. Hang on a second. Lapels. Oh, you mean on lapel? Oh, that's my branch insignia. That's interesting enough that you asked that question, because those things on my lapel right there, the shiny gold things with the blue in them, that's the U.S. Army Military Intelligence Corps branch insignia for officers. You wear them on your lapel. You wear U.S. up there to identify United States. So those are coincidentally the exact same insignia that in the original Battlestar Galactica with Dirk Benedict. Those were worn by the pilots. The Viper pilots wore military intelligence brass. I guess somebody on Extra found them somewhere, and they put them on all the pilots, and they all wore them right here on their collars. Go watch the original Battlestar Galactica. You will see that that's the insignia they wear. That's U.S. Army intelligence. On the shoulder boards, that's the rank. I was a lieutenant colonel at that time. Yeah, so Battlestar Galactica. I still get a kick out of that. Anyway, hopefully I answered your question there. Wow. Okay. Where did you hide the Medal of Honor? I don't have a Medal of Honor. I also don't have a Bronze Star or Silver Star. I don't have any decorations for valor. I did my job. I did as best my ability. I'm fortunate to have all my fingers, all my toes, my mental faculties. So that's good fortune. Not everyone's that fortunate. Well done on your military achievements. So you deserve to work hard at everything you take on. Yeah, Hugo. And for that, I get called a former colonel by Newsroom Africa. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I get called a right-wing podcaster by the Daily Maverick. Don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, these are people that have limited mental faculties, and they're just lazy, too lazy to do research. Watch your interview yesterday, and you spoke a lot about the Amerikaners. We do get the link. Where do you get the link? Go to Amerikaners.com. Isn't that what it is? Amerikaners.org? I don't know the link, Corey. I don't think I have it. What interview did I speak? Where did I talk about the Amerikaners a lot? What interview? I do so many interviews, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Let me see if I've got their link here. I'm not promoting the Amerikaners group. I'm also not demoting them. They watch my content, and they're trying to help people. So, but staying away from being entangled with groups, it keeps me independent. So, for instance, while I find what AfriForum does interesting, and I could be a member, a paying member, I've never joined AfriForum. If I become a member of AfriForum, how can I be objective about them? Okay, Gordon, take care. If somebody's got the link to Amerikaners, just put it in there. What odds? Want to come to America? My husband's 75 and I'm 75. Daughter's 45, 49. Grandson 25. Busy applying. Okay, June. Wow. Now, see, look at that. There you go. That's somebody who wants to come. Serious. The lady is 75 years old. She wants to come here. Wow. I love the name Holzhausen. That's a pretty cool name. German for wooden house or wood house. Okay. Holz is wood and Hausen is houses, wood houses. Marius is very cool. Grandfather was South African squadron during the Korean War. Yeah, Ronald, if Brett Sessoms was here, he'd love that because he's all into the Korea thing. He spent some time in Korea and is fascinated by the South Africans that were in the Korean conflict. Must be proud of the time you gave the military. Well, Eric, I'm proud that I served with honor, I served with dignity, and I improved the lives of people everywhere I went. I challenge people to find those who work for me, who were ever disappointed working for me. I treated my team well, regardless of where I was at. Everyone was treated fairly, tried to make work lighthearted, and we tried to make the best of it. I did expect a lot of my soldiers and my sailors and my Marines and the civilians who worked for me, but never more than I expected of myself, and often far less than I expected myself. So I'm sure there's somebody who worked for me who's probably disgruntled. It's impossible to have 100% people like you for what you do. But I know that when I would go to conferences in Germany, all the locally employed people, the FSNs, the Foreign Service Nationals, they would come glom over and hang out with me because many of them had worked for me before, and they'd all talk about me, and they love hanging out with me. So like when I went to the last conference I went to in Germany, in Garmisch, my Foreign Service National who worked for me at the embassy in Uganda had gone to these conferences every year. That was my first year going in Uganda. And so I asked her, I said, have you ever gone to Austria, to Innsbruck? She says, no. How do you do that? I said, well, it's not far. And I had rented a car. So I said, you want to go? And we had the afternoon off. And so I took her. And did I take someone else? I think we took someone else. And I drove down through the mountains. Drove them down to Innsbruck. It's only like an hour from there, from Garmisch. You come down the mountains into the Inn Valley. Went downtown, walked around Innsbruck. And I said, hey, guys, you ever been to Italy? And they're like, no. I said, you know, it's only 40 minutes away from here. What? No. Yeah, it's in the mountains. It looks a lot like this. But you want to go to Italy? We can go to Italy. I mean, I'll pay the toll because you have to pay a ridiculous toll. It's like $30. But I said, I'll pay for it. Don't you worry about it. I mean, that way you can go to Italy. Say you've been to Italy. So we went to Italy. We stopped in a little German village over on the other side. It used to be Austria, but it's taken over by Italy. So we went through the Brenner Pass, and we drove down into northern Italy, and we stopped in this little town, went and had like a cafe, and had a coffee there, you know, or hot chocolate or something like that. And I took them back, and it's never left them. I had no obligation to do that. I've been to these places many times. It cost me money. It cost me time. But look what I did to make someone's life better, just a minor thing. It just took a little consideration and time on my part, and I didn't mind doing it. I mean, it was inconvenient, but when would that ever happen for these people again? So it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's like the other day, one of my viewers on here, I mentioned this, the grandson is being harassed because he's colored and people being very rude to him at school. And so the Oma asked me, would you mind speaking to him? I said, sure. And so we had a lovely conversation. It doesn't take much to be kind to others. And it doesn't take much to help others. I really like helping people help themselves. If you give, teach a man to fish sort of philosophy. So Sarita says, I really want to go, but I'm all alone scared. Sarita, why? Okay. Okay. I don't want to reveal things about your personal situation, Rita. Thank you for being here. You've been here a lot lately. And I'm sorry that you're scared. You're scared what? Of coming to America? I would tell you, I don't know your circumstance. I don't know your age. I understand. If you're 22 or you're 72, relocating is not easy. I did it 26 times. But to be fair, I had logistical support from the U.S. government in one way or another for these moves. So it wasn't like I had to pay to ship my household goods. I didn't have to pay to ship my vehicle. I had certain legal rights in places I went to. I already had a salary. My job was the same. I got paid the same salary from wherever I went around the world, paid in dollars. So it's not quite the same as other folks. So, Sarita, I understand how challenging that can be, but I can't tell you more without knowing more about you, and you don't have to reveal that here. So I would tell you that the people who get into the Refugee Reassistance Program, if they're alone, you're not going to be isolated, okay? And I will make this promise, Sarita, right now. Assuming I'm still drawing breath, let's say you participate in a refugee program. I'm not encouraging you to do it. I'm not encouraging you to stay. But if you do it and you come to America, reach out to me and stay in touch with me, and I will do my best to see what happens to make sure that you're okay. I'm not talking about helping you financially or coming and giving you a house. I'm not talking about that, but just to make sure that people are helping you, you've got a sponsor and that sort of thing. I'm not making that promise to anyone else. Now I'm going to ask you to quit writing in all caps. Okay, Sarita? Okay. All right. Quids, thank you for the 45 or 70 Rand super chat. I missed that one. Okay. Yes, I know Evan Galopter sends people to my channel, and you're welcome to go to Evan to listen to legal advice. He's actually an attorney that does immigration, and I think his video yesterday did a really good job about, because I think people are accusing him of doing this for money. He's not taking any money. Yep. Ingrid is also alone. Okay, see, there you go. So, at some point you can form a group, not a WhatsApp group, not a WhatsApp group, but a group. Maybe an X group or something like that where people can help each other out and overcome your fears, okay? So Corey says, welcome to the Burumaisi Power Club, okay? I sent you a statement, last two pictures on WhatsApp, EFF statement condemning Donald Trump's provocative nomination, Leo Brandt, Bozell. Yeah, no, Jan, I don't have the statement. Thank you for that. I didn't look on their site. I can use it to put in my video. I'm editing the video right now, so, all right? So when I'm done, I have to finish that video. It's called Random Acts of Kindness. I live for it. Okay, Reg. Yeah, but they're not so random. Oftentimes they're anticipated and planned, but some are random, yes. Steve Newbold, what's back, man? Hey, you're back. Okay. Johan Protz here. Okay. Ain't that the damn truth? Okay. Yeah, your art says, Sarita, there's no reason to be afraid. You're not alone. Tracy says her husband has the same mindset as me. I do. Well, okay, that's cool. I try hard to get your channel out to my friends and family. Some are skeptics and others, it's an eye-opener. Well, Corey, thank you for sharing it. I do appreciate it. Most people, what's this? Most people are scared of immigrating. The unknown is daunting. It is, but it's not a reason not to do it. It's not a reason not to do it. All people says you seem to have a great deal of empathy. That's great. Well, all people, I think I attribute my empathy to, but I also have short patience for people who are useless. If you're useless, that's on you. If you genuinely care and try, then you get, then I'm on board with you. But people who don't try, I have little use for. But the empathy I attribute to, I think, to my childhood. I had a truly horrific childhood, which I won't share. It's nobody's business. Those who know me and know what I and my siblings went through in our childhood know that no one should be subjected to the nonsense that we went through. It's just wrong. And virtually all the people that are responsible for that are now passed on. So, but still, I'm not going to relate those things because those are private things for my siblings and myself. And I was always skinny and new and picked on and bullied as a kid. And therefore, I think I can empathize with the underdog, with the little guy. I lived in poverty for part of my childhood, and I know what it's like not to have things and to want things. And I also came in the Army and suddenly had a little bit of money and became irresponsible and spent all my money. But I had a backstop. I didn't have to find a place to live. I didn't pay for rent. I didn't pay for electricity. I didn't pay for heat. I didn't pay for any of that. I lived in the barracks. I didn't have to worry about going hungry because I was entitled to 3 meals per day in the dining facility, mess hall. So there you go. So I could be reckless with my money and then have no money, but then I couldn't do anything. So that went on for a few months, and I realized this is stupid. Slow down. Fewer steins of beer. All right? Less of that. Less McDonald's. And save a little bit of money, buddy. So I started saving money, investing it, and I taught myself how to save and invest, and that was in 1984. And here we are 41 years later. So I learned to pay myself first, pay all my responsibilities, and build from there. And when there were tough times and narrow times, because when I was in college, I was selling plasma. I had no money. In the summer, I was hungry. I ate macaroni and cheese, and peas was my meal every day. I could eat for less than $1, for like 50 cents or 60 cents. That's what I ate. That's all I had. So I'm not trying to tell you a tragic story. I'm just trying to tell you that I've had nothing, and I've tried to be responsible. So anyway, sent my mail to the embassy using the Amerikaner's template last night. My siblings said, go for it. I'll be going solo. Okay, Mr. Fark. Erica helped people with cancer when she's in school with funds to support them. A black friend who lost his wife and daughter in a brutal farm attack, he thought he couldn't apply because he's not white. Told him it's not the case. Well, Ashley, we don't know that's not the case, but why not ask? Why not ask? He shouldn't assume that it doesn't include him. He's been a victim of that violence, right? If he considers himself an Afrikaner or an ethnic minority, he might qualify. We don't know. We don't know, Ashley. Maybe. We don't know. But tell him, don't just assume out of hand. Must say sometimes just shake my head at some of the comments. Thank you for all the work you put in. You're right, Sim Experience is tough. Okay, that's a real gentleman. Well, not according to Newsroom Africa or the Daily Maverick or a certain self-wanking person stealing my content. No, they don't think that. They see a white face and they want to call you racist because you think that people should be treated fairly. Now, if we go back 40 years ago when I was saying the same thing about black folks being treated poorly, they wouldn't say that about me. But they can't see beyond color. I don't care about your color. I don't. I'm not going to lie and say I don't see it. People see color. But it doesn't change how I treat you or how I dress you. Unless you're an ass, then it does. Oh, boy. Okay. I found that sometimes you have to be really bad so that you can get stronger and grow. Well, things have to be bad. Well, what I say, Peter, is that a lot of people get broken by what happens to them. And look, I don't mean to peel wounds here, but for instance, let's just go with the R word. People get raped, women especially, but not just women, and but especially it happens to women a lot, and it can break them. It can destroy them because it's such a traumatic event. It's so wrong. It's so morally bankrupt. It's such a horrible thing to do to somebody. But for some people, it steals them. Their inner resolve of who they are. They're not going to let that define them. People who are assaulted, they're not going to let that define them. It's not easy, but it puts them in a crucible, the challenges of life. That's the point I'm trying to make. If you deal with adversity early in life, if you've dealt with genuine adversity, poverty, violence, things like that, racism, if you deal with those things early in life, and I dealt with racism. I was abused by racists when I was a kid because I was white. I lived in minority neighborhoods and I was attacked for it. Had a razor blade or a switchblade put on my throat, pinned to the ground, threatened to be murdered at 7 years old because I was white. You, I believe, come out stronger and you have more empathy because you've experienced what it's like to be treated like crap. And so, that's just my thesis on it. I could be completely wrong, but I've dealt with a lot of crap and overcome it in my childhood. And I've also dealt with some unfairness in my adult life. My Army career. And it's just wrong, but I've survived it and come out ahead. Soldiers I have met and know have to be biggest hearts and find once you know them how fragile life is, you respect life much more. Yeah, well, I think Primal Bear, that's a fair point. Life is precious, and people who never served in combat or people who don't serve as law enforcement officers where their lives is put on line every single day don't appreciate for just how fragile life is. It's scary. Jack says, cool, I'm green, then you, Chris. Can you plug even mods? What do you mean, RJ? Can I ask people to say hello to my moderators and thank them for what they're doing? Yeah, please do that. As far as I know, Colonel Chris is looking for someone to live stream from his channel. Yes. Yeah, well, I'm probably going to use Boer Media. I'm going to ask them if I can use their feed. Yep. Cannot wait to come and be a difference in America, says Anne-Marie de Kock. Honors degree in communication. I'm a widow and a Christian, so it's only me coming if I qualify. All right, Anne-Marie. Cool. leftists seem so obsessed with racializing, race baiting, everything. They do. They do. Herman's back again. Started with nothing, got something, lost it all, and started over again. Jan, then coming to America is going to be a piece of piss for you. You've done it before. Sent my email yesterday, took the whole day drafting it. Shocking to recall all the things that have become numb in South Africa. Well, that's the big thing, Daniel, and I tell people this all the time. Black, white, and brown South Africans, you people are inured to violence. Your expectation of what's normal is skewed. It's not normal. So a way to find out and contact some members here so that we can create a single support group to support each other through this, please. Well, Ingrid, yeah, that's interesting, but that's a real big challenge because the way you do it, you know, you're going to have trolls come in. You're going to have people that are trying to chat you up and get dates and trying to bang you and do things like that. It's a rough thing to do. Yeah, let's think about that one, okay? Let's think about that, all right? Okay. Somebody called me a terrorist on Facebook. Where was that at, Pedro? A terrorist. Well, that's libel. So tell me where that's at. And if they're in South Africa, they might be in trouble. That's an uneducated moron. A terrorist. I've hunted terrorists, but I'm not a terrorist. See why I'm not on Facebook? Someone called me a terrorist. What a dumbass. What a dumbass. No, I haven't seen the interview Neil deBeer did. Terrorist. Someone in Benoni mentioned me today. Goals, Cape Town. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Oh, God bless it. Jumped again. Huge respect for law enforcement. Yeah, I have it too. They so speaking of that, you guys ready for an anecdotal story? You want to hear an anecdotal story? You might find this one interesting. Okay, you want to hear it? Tell me in the chat if you want to hear this story. It's about law enforcement. It's not a bad story. Not a bad story, but it's funny. So my brother's teenage complained to my father about something being unfair. My father was very curt and said, well, life is unfair. Deal with it. Yep. I want to thank you so much for being a voice of hope. Appreciate your patience. You're welcome, Tanya. Chris, I still believe that my service made me the man today. Yeah, could be. I know of so many people that decided to, okay, because of the desperation. Yeah, that's horrible, Gerard. That's horrible. No, Ingrid, I get you. WhatsApp group, but you got to be very circumspect about what to do there. Okay. Yeah, Ingrid, if you want to create a WhatsApp group and put me on as administrator, well, we don't want to call it singles. You don't want to call it boredom, I see. If you want to do that, and then we have to be very circumspect, and people have to apply for the group, okay? And then I'll follow it and see what goes on in there, if you want to do that. But I don't want it to be my group, and don't put my name on it. And we got to be smart about the name on it. But if it's a good group and it goes well, then I'll tell people about it in here, okay? Okay, so yes. Okay, people want to hear it, okay? All right, so 67, 65 working a farm, do you think our chances? 65 is retirement age here, Scylla. You'll be allowed to work. You're not prohibited from working, but your chances of working, I mean, depends what you want to do. Farm work is hard. 65 and 67, I'm sure there's something you can do, like be a Walmart greeter or something else. Yeah, but there's lots of work. We can't find people to work. They're young, so you can find work. Depends where you're at. Assuming the refugee program accepts and apply for green card for 12 months, does that mean I can apply for military service if I pass the requirements? Ethan, Axel, Funder, Metch, you don't have to even come to America to apply for military service. I've mentioned that many, many times. I don't know the process joining from abroad, but we have thousands of non-citizens who've joined U.S. military from abroad, and some who are non-citizens who are in America who join. You can come here. The moment you come here, if you qualify for the military, you can apply. You don't have to wait for your green card. Don't even have to wait. You can apply now, but I don't know how to do it. I just know it's easier once you're here. Walk into a recruiting station. Here you go. Yep, you got to meet the standards. Though. The age is the key thing. And then there you go. Okay, so I'm caught up. Ronald Mayer says, thank you for what you're doing. Okay, well, it's not just for the minority, folks. I do it for everybody. But please don't presume it's just for Afrikaners. I promote Sotho, Tswana, and Afrikaans on this channel, and South Africa in general, but Africa across the board. So it's just that's been a focus lately, especially these late night ones. If you check Aussie papers, especially around Perth, you already notice Afrikaans surnames. Yeah, well, that's because there's a lot of them there. Yeah, there's like 16 to 40,000 Afrikaners in Perth area, somewhere around there. No, Axel, it's fine. I understand you can't get to all of them. I'm just saying I've mentioned it before. The reason I mentioned before is so that if so people know that it's been addressed. Because I guarantee you that you've asked a question, in 3 minutes someone will pop in here and ask the same question. So go back and watch it. Okay, so I was at the Veterans Organization, and we have a big building, and we have a big dining room and kind of not a ballroom, but a stage where we can hold events. And we have a bar, a big bar. It's a long bar. It's in a oval shape like a racetrack, and it runs around. And we have big TVs up on top. People can watch stuff, and it's for socializing. It's a private club. You have to be a member. For veterans of foreign wars or members, they have access to it. For auxiliary members, they have access to it. And then we also have social memberships for people from the community. So I was there not last night, but the night before. And so every time I tried to leave, something else came up. Oh, we need you, Commander, to sign this check. Okay, I had to sign a check for somebody. Then they said, I started to leave, and someone said, hey, I need you to do this. We need you to, can you talk to this employee? We think they did something wrong. So I had to find a way to talk to the employee that didn't draw attention. Trust me, when I walk around the place, everybody knows I'm there. Everybody's watching what I'm doing, by watching what I'm saying, just so they can go, I had a commander said this. So I had to be careful, because people assume if you're talking to somebody, they must have done something wrong, which isn't the case necessarily. So I talked to the employee, came back. That delayed me a little bit longer. I walked back inside, and I talked to my quartermaster and the club manager in the office, and they're like, well, they mentioned something else that was going on. I said, oh, really? And they said, yeah, I'm frustrated with this person. I said, well, I'll go talk to him. So I talked to another employee. Anyway, long story short, I stayed there about 35, 40 minutes longer than I intended. So now I'm finally leaving. I walk out the front door. Sarita, please stop using all caps, okay? Okay? Please stop using all caps. I've asked you that twice now. So I walk out the door, and there's 6 law enforcement officers outside the door. Off to the side of the local township police, but I didn't see that because they were several feet away. In front of me were cops, but I couldn't see where they were from. They had small badges. They were wearing body armor. On the back, it said what they were, but I didn't see that till they turned around. I walk out, and that cop points to the local cop and says, this is the guy? And I'm like, excuse me, the guy for what? I'm the commander here. How can I help you? What guy? And he goes, well, we have a warrant. We're searching for someone. So can I see it? So they showed me the warrant. And I said, that doesn't even look remotely like me. It doesn't even look remotely like me, dude. I didn't laugh at the cop, but I'm like, that doesn't look like me. And he said, would you like to come inside? Because it's a private club. They have a warrant, so they can come in. But I mean, I could have been difficult because the warrant was for the person, not for the club. But they're looking around for him. Anyway, so they had 2 that went around the back to our loading dock, so the guy couldn't run out the back. And I opened the door and let the other 4 cops come in. They were local constables, came up from the county headquarters looking for a gentleman on an open warrant. And they came inside. And I had the bartender turn off the music because we have a jukebox and get the microphone. And while she was getting the microphone, the guy was looking at the picture and he goes, hey, that's him over there. And he points over. And on the other side of the bar was one of my officers who's a good guy. He thought they were pointing at him. The cops came in. He's like, what the? Oh. Anyway, so they call the guy out and he comes out and they walk over the door and they said, you're being arrested for the following reasons. And everywhere around the bar is like 35 people. And they're like, and people in the dining room like, anyway, so I don't mean to laugh at the guy's misfortune, but I mean, the situation was just bizarre. So they handcuffed him and he said something. And the cop is like, I'm in charge here. Be quiet. You're going to do what you're told to do. You're not doing that. Because the guy was being a little bit obstinate. So they took him outside. And about 10 minutes later, I finally left. And the cops were still out there. When I walked outside, the local cops thanked me for my assistance and for the Veterans Organization helping me to allow them to do the arrest. And then the cops actually arrested the guy. I had in the cruiser, and my car was out in the parking lot near where they were. And so they were still there, and they thanked me. And I was like, okay, glad to help. I'm glad nobody was injured. It's anyway, but so I walk out the door, and I'm like, that's the guy. Wait, what's the guy? What guy? I didn't do anything, man. What are you talking about? Thank you, Chris. I can see that you still have integrity, high moral standards, and most of all, honesty. Thank you, Steve. But apparently I'm a terrorist according to some asswipe on Facebook. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Are you aware of any restrictions on any non-U.S. born person to apply for work like CIA and FBI? Well, you have to have a security clearance to work for the CIA. You can do work for the FBI, but you're not going to be a law enforcement officer. They have other staff. They have administrative staff. They have, but that might require clearance. You can't get a clearance unless you're a U.S. citizen. No security clearance, unless you're a citizen. So, yeah, there are restrictions on working for those organizations. Absolutely. I can tell you now, you're not going to work for the CIA if you're a foreign national. That ain't going to happen. You might be able to work for certain parts of the FBI, do administrative work, or other things. But, yeah, doesn't mean you can't work. Anyway, so I'm just saying, no, you're not going to be able to work for those guys. Pick what up quickly? What is the cutoff age for law enforcement? It varies, Armand. I mean, we have over 700,000 law enforcement officials at all various levels. We have county sheriffs. Here we have regional police in Pennsylvania. We have state troopers. We have township police. We have municipal police. We have state police. And that's just Pennsylvania policing. And then on top of that, you've got federal police here. You've got FBI with offices here around the state. You've got all kinds of law enforcement. We've got national park here, so you've got park police here. You got Capitol Police in D.C., and there's all kinds of cops. They got different standards, different things. So I can't tell you. You have to tell the destination. You have to look it up and look up the age there. Also going my own, different gender, but I'm more scared of staying south and going to U.S. alone. Yeah, so Armand, I can't answer the question. But generally speaking, you usually can't become a cop past your mid-30s. I mean, it's a physical thing. But there are exceptions. I mean, General Don Bolduc, Brigadier General Don Bolduc, who's a friend who ran for the U.S. Senate in New Hampshire in his 60s, applied to the police academy to be a reserve police officer. Graduated, physically fit. He's a special forces guy. He did like 12 tours in Afghanistan or something like that over 20-some years. Don Bolduc qualified. He is a reserve police officer in the New Hampshire Police now in his 60s. So, anything's possible. My dad lives in the USA. Will they place me close to my dad if my mom and I qualify? Well, Springbok, replay zone, you can request that, but can't promise that'll happen. They put you where they got sponsors and where they've got programs in place. So, I mean, where does your dad live? I mean, you don't have to answer that question. That's what depends on it. But yeah, that could have an impact. You just need to tell them that if you're in the program. So, wow, this tonight has been all about refugee stuff. We barely talked about anything else tonight. Wow. I hope you all hang around and be subscribers and just come around just to milk me for answers. So we are getting tantalizingly close to 64,000 subscribers. We're 141 subscribers away from that. I think the video that I've edited tonight might push us over by the time I get up. You don't mess with law enforcement. There's law and order. Some South Africans will suffer adjusting. Yep. Mr. Wyatt, on a lighter note, the Neil Diamond song Coming to America, it's a whole different meaning to me. Yeah, I bet it does have a different meaning to you. Sunshine Kid says, well, so much for being discreet. Discreet about what? I made a video about that, RJ. You're not watching my content. I made a video about it, Beloy. Yep, it's there. Put it up yesterday. It has hit the 50,000 mark. Okay, cool. It's at 51,000 views. Yep, cool. 51,000. Yep. Ronaldo also did a video on it. Men in Black. Here come the men in black. The banana terrorist. All right. Ronald Meyer. Okay. You're doing great to be awake at this time. Elna, I do this every day now. Do you have that diners like the one in the movie? Yeah, we do have diners. In fact, in York, I drove by one the other day. It's in that classic diner, that aluminum, shiny, silver-looking color. Yep, we have them. They've got some... They design them like that. But yeah, the original ones that are around from 50 years ago, most of those have been torn down, I've been offline for a while. It's okay, RJ. I don't forgive you for anything. You didn't do anything wrong, man. Just saying I haven't seen you in a while. Could you please sit still? You're giving me motion sickness with the camera swinging. Camera's not moving. No law and order here. Yep. Cattle are slaughtered or poisoned. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Paul. Oh, but farmers aren't going to come here because they got it so wonderful according to Agri-SA. When you were in South Africa, did you eat at the Mustang Sally? No, never eaten there. But Neil Diamond was talking about eating at Turn and Tender. Is it Turn and Tender in Joburg? I've never been there either. I'll have to check that out if I ever get back. Madeline says, my kid is the most important part of this. Okay. Only True News out there, so that we always follow you. Well, there are a few other folks that are doing True News, Conrad. But yeah. When are we going for beer or two, Chris? Well, Steve, that depends on where you're at. Where do you live? If it's on my agenda, if it's on my itinerary, if it's in my day planner. Yep. Call me a terrorist. I'm still chuckling over that. Wow, a terrorist. I'd love to see that thread. Wow, the cheek of some people. Unbelievable. But these are stupid people. Stupid people should wear signs. That way you wouldn't ask them questions. Yep. Teaching American kids at the same time in AM mornings, says Elna. What are you teaching them, Elna? 504 likes. That's all we got tonight? Bummer. I thought we could have done better than that. U.S. politics are pretty unavoidable when you browse X. It's quite the show over there. People need to get over themselves and get on their knees and thank the Heavenly Father for all the people like yourself that are heavenly sent to help us selflessly. Well, thank you for that, Jaco Basson. Red Sauce says, when we get there, the first time we get pulled over by local PD, the first thing we're going to do is pull out our wallet and a bag of KFC. Well, Elna, then you are doing the Lord's work. Financial literacy is something people... You're teaching Americans financial literacy? That's interesting. Are you in the States or are you in South Africa? Okay. Well, Ton and Tender, apparently it does. Or Neil Diamond fibbed. Lindsay Keith was looking Father Christmas. You're teaching Americans financial literacy from South Africa. So I'm guessing you're well versed in mutual funds and exchange traded funds and bonds and PE ratios and things like that. Banking, investments. You know, you're doing things right when trolls started. Yeah, I know, exactly. Listen to the live you did on X last night, or should I say the one in the morning my time? Oh yeah, I started doing that because my colleague has stream one of those streaming things, and I can stream multiple services. So because of that, I've been streaming to my original YouTube channel at Real Chris Wyatt, to X account, and also to my Rumble account. So, oh, there's one in Pretoria. Okay. Because I was online when internet crashed, but some people say the refugee program interviews will most probably be in the big cities. Well, some people don't know what they're talking about now, do they, Johan? Do they? Who are some people? Who are these people? Do they work for the U.S. Population, Refugee, and Migration Bureau at the State Department? Do they work for Marco Rubio? Are they Marco Rubio? These some people? Who are these some people? I'm not picking on Johan. I'm just saying when you listen to some people, consider the source. What do they know? I don't know where the interviews be done, but I've suggested where they're likely to occur. And I guess you got cut off when I restarted. So as this came up earlier when we were restarting the broadcast a couple of times, things were getting kind of hectic. So people are like, I can't afford to go to Pretoria. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Well, I have to go for the interview. Who said that? Who told you that? Well, they just assumed. Don't assume anything. The program has been announced. Think about this. At least 480,000 people are affected by this just based on those who express interest to the Chamber of Commerce, to the Amerikaners, and to the embassy directly. And the number has gone up since we mentioned this 3 or 4 days ago. So, do you honestly think that the U.S. Embassy is going to ask 500,000 people to come to Pretoria to the embassy? I mean, our toilets would break. Do you know what our water bill just from people taking a piss would be? That doesn't make any sense, man. Now, I'm not trying to be lighthearted and make fun of things here, but think about this, Johan. It just doesn't pass the smell test. So what's likely to happen? Well, it's likely that we'll leverage our consulates in Durban, Joburg, and in Cape Town to facilitate releasing a facility or renting a building somewhere to do the interviews. I mean, the freaking, you think you've got a clogged up toilet. Imagine the American Embassy in Pretoria. It's going to smell like shit for years from all these people showing up there taking a dump in our embassy. Ain't going to happen, man. Let them take the dump at Emperor's Palace in those toilets in Kempton Park. Let you clog the urinals there. Okay? Let people leave their rubbish in the parking lot at Emperor's Palace. We don't need that crap in Hatfield. Why in the world would we do that? Look, I don't know where it's going to be, but I mean, you got to use some common sense here, guys. And again, I'm not picking on Johan. I'm just saying, think about it. Think about it, guys. I mean, honestly, we couldn't possibly accommodate those people. What's happening right now is a select number of people that are randomly picked from, they went through emails and go, ooh, well, this looks particularly shocking. Let's bring Yvette in so she can tell us about her experience. Tian looks like a person we should bring in. Let's invite them in. And they invite them in. Well, Tian happens to be in Bloemfontein. Guess what? You got to come to Pretoria because that's where they're doing these right now because they're preliminary. They're not actual refugee interviews. So that's something people need to get ahead. But so we can handle 2 or 3 people or 5 interviews per day at the embassy with a TDY, temporary duty team, sent over. And the reason they're at the embassy is because it's a lot cheaper to do at the embassy because we got a couple interview rooms. Why do we have interview rooms? Because we interview people for visa applications. Okay? But we don't have 500,000 interview rooms or 1,000 interview rooms or 200 interview rooms. And it doesn't make any sense if people are going to apply from all over the country that we try to do this from Pretoria. It doesn't make any sense. We go where the refugees are. In Chad, we go to the camps. In Kenya, we go to the camp with 650,000 people. In Uganda, we go where the camps are. We don't go to I started to say Kinshasa. Oh my gosh. I'm drawing a blank here. My goodness. It is late. I am tired. I'll give you an example here. My goodness. We don't go to Kampala. It just came to me. We don't go to Uganda and go to Kampala and say, oh, the people in the camps who have no money and have no way to get here and are refugees who survived a war in South Sudan, you've got to come the 300 miles from Jinja. Well, not Jinja, but wherever, the place in the north. I forgot that. I should look up the map. You have to come all the way down here and see us at the embassy. We don't do that. That's ludicrous. I mean, how is that helping people who are in need? So my anticipation based on that experience and based on my knowledge is that there will be opportunities to be interviewed all over the country because it just doesn't make any sense otherwise. So what am I looking for? What's the town I'm looking for? That's not the town. Where's the damn town at? In northern Uganda. It's not showing up on my map. What kind of map is this, man? Gulu is not the town's number. Anyway, let's just say you come from Gulu. We're not going to make you come from Gulu all the way down to Kampala. It's too far. We'll send a team up where the refugees are. So with that logic in mind, we would likely leverage our consulates, 4 of them, one in Pretoria, but not use that one, but leverage the other ones to do these things. Plus, there's also a security issue here, So we'll probably, I would expect to put something in Port Elizabeth, Uppington, Bloemfontein at a minimum. Maybe even Nelspruit, So we don't know, though, folks. We don't know. You have to wait and see. I was an executive at the company that owns Emperor's Palace. I can only imagine that. Yeah, let them clog the toilets in Emperor's Palace. I mean, if you've eaten there, you need the toilets. I've eaten at the Indian restaurant, which is pretty good. But the rest of the other restaurants there, But yeah, let them clog the toilets at Emperor's Palace. I mean, that's where Kodesu is held. Why not? Get even. Leave a little souvenir behind if you're leaving. Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. No, Sunshine Kid, I can't be discreet. When I was in Liberia, I couldn't be discreet. People knew who I was. Colonel Wyatt. Everywhere I went. When I was a major, they didn't pay attention. When I became a colonel, a couple months after I got there, suddenly it's Colonel Wyatt everywhere I went. And when I went back to Liberia years later to do something with the Ministry of Defense to help them out while I was still at the War College, man, word spread like wildfire. Jungle Telegram works in Africa, man. I'm going to tell you what, I had people come into the hotel where I was at. Where's Colonel Wyatt? We'd like to see Colonel Wyatt. It's Colonel Wyatt here. And they wouldn't give out the room number. So I come down and say, Colonel Wyatt, hey! And I'd see all my old soldiers and I see people from Liberia. And then I go this place and the word spread. And next thing I know, the chief of staff of the army, who was a lieutenant when I was there, wanted to meet me and see me. And they all want to take pictures with me. It was really heartwarming. I can't go to South Africa and misbehave. You're not going to find me hanging out in the nightclub with hookers and blow because people will tell on me. People know who I am. I mean, imagine what it's going to be like now if I came back to South Africa. That was when I had a smaller audience. I mean, 45 times on my last trip, people came up to me out of the blue I've never met. Colonel Wyatt, hey, it's the Colonel. Chris, how you doing? Can we get a selfie? And I obliged them. Happy to do it. 45 times. Imagine this time. It's going to be crazy. And that's not a boast. I don't know. I'm not famous. I'm not special. Just that people recognize me. So anyway. Fly fishing. We can fly fish right here in Yellow Breeches Creek. It's world renowned for its fishing. Yellow Breeches. It was online when okay, so Johan, I think I answered that now, right? Okay. Anyway. Like living a TV series, The Walking Dead. Leave our compounds, do errands, security bars, and homes. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Had to prove my marriage limit to the Australian embassy. Provided sexy photos of to us. They blushed. Okay, Savage Daughter. But you're in the UK now. Oh, South Africa's a camp. Right. Well, the embassy parking lot barely has any parking anyway. So it's, I mean, look, I mean, I would use Emperor's Palace. Charles, you wouldn't go to the casino opposite of Madiba Stadium by Kings Park? You wouldn't go there? That's safe. It's like putting up voting stations accessible and to accommodate and get things done. The U.S. Embassy will announce all the locations. There you go. Exactly. Can't just imagine how many cars will be left at the airports when we leave here. Didn't add my info on being wrong to the email. Chris, you can always come incognito, shave the beard, dye your head, speak German. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, sure. No, Johann Schmidt. Ja, Johann Schmidt. I come from Berlin. Berlin. Ja. Ja, sicher. Ja. Ja. How do I send you my drone? You can't send it to me. If Biden can get 18 Secret Service agents and he's disliked, you can get 22. I found your channel in late January. I never had the confidence to comment on platforms and engage, but here I feel safe and have learned much. Thanks. You're welcome, Sunshine Kid. Some people's feelings get hurt, but I'm glad yours haven't. I watched Anna Paulina Luna in Congress about USA. She mentioned a manual which was alarming. Are you able to assist in understanding it? Apologies if it's not my place to ask. Dark Water, I'll answer whatever I can. I don't understand what's going on with AID. What manual? Yeah, I come as a German tourist. No, but German tourists think I come as an Irish tourist. Yeah, no, I'm Sean McGillicuddy. I come from Dublin. Yeah, no, we drink from the River Liffey in Dublin. I'm telling you, it's great to be here in South Africa. It's a lovely place. We're having a crock here. It's fantastic. You know, we went to the Kapstadt Brauerei, had some of that kraut beer. It was fantastic. But I'm telling you, a good Guinness, that's a good stout. That'll do you fine. That'll do you fine, my brother. There you go. That's it. Well, I tell you, man, when the terrorists show up on the plane, I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian. That's right. I'm an Anglophone Canadian. That's right. That's right. I'm Darren Mathers. I'm from Ontario. And je parle the Québécois mauvais comme tous les Anglais au Canada, eh? I can talk about the French Canadians, but I'm not French Canadian, eh? And we talk about what's going on here in Canada. No, I'm on the plane when they come along and they're looking for passports. No, mine was, I left it in the toilet at the airport. No, it's a tragedy, man. And they're like, how did you get on the plane? Well, because I paid the stewardess a bribe and she let me on the plane. No, no, I don't speak Dutch. Yeah, Charles, Ontario. No, I lived up there near Hamilton. You know, it's a great place, Hamilton. Most people in Hamilton don't have this kind of accent. They sound like Americans, but I grew up north in Nunavut, and so yeah, for sure, talking with this kind of accent in Nunavut, and then I moved down to Ontario a long time ago. I wanted to be a Mountie, but it just didn't work out. I just didn't have the patience to be a Mountie. I mean, riding those horses really makes your arse hurt quite a bit there. So I couldn't be a Mountie, so I decided to be a government bureaucrat. And, it's been fantastic here in Ontario. I love it. My life is all about the outdoors. I go fishing and we have such a good time. It's really nice. I go up to Lake Wobegon. It's quite nice. Yeah, Charles, I fit in Minnesota. What else? No English. No English. Manual about destabilized nations using race during Biden administration. Really? That's interesting. Let me look that up. I'm unfamiliar with that. Anna Paulina Anna Paulina Luna. Anna Paulina Luna. Okay. And let's see if there's any news on her. No mention of that. No mention of it. Yeah, she's a former military person who did some racy photographs. And people think she's quite sexy. Well, she's attractive. I don't know if she's sexy. But some people think she is. But, I mean, as a Republican, I think, oh, she is sexy. Not. Not. Starting over at our age is a strange place, a scary thought. Staying here, what I know, just scary, not as easy position, man. Marky Pretorius, I understand where you're coming from. Anton Schultz, your help and assistance is highly appreciated. You can send an email. I want a confidential question. Which can I find? Yeah, Anton, you can send me an email. Do you have the email? If not, one of the mods can put it if they're still here. Engelbrecht says, can you please give us New York Times or Chris? Huh? Oh, F. Engelbrecht, if you want the New York Times, you want to contribute to that article? Yeah, send me an email, and I will share your information with him, okay? He's probably going to run out of so many people. I already give him 4 or 5 names, but I'll share it. But don't put your information here. That's not in chat. Never put your personal information in chat. Never, never, never. It's a record. You don't want it there. Send me an email. And if you guys don't have an email, I look like the mods are here. They've fallen asleep on me. They're tired. I don't blame them. It's late. All right. So my email address for this account is the following. Okay. Copy. That's why I have it handy. There's email. Send me an email, and I will share it with him. When I'm done here, I've got to edit my video and get it up about reactions to the new ambassador. Did I call you? I did not call you, Emil. I didn't call anybody. How does who keep themselves busy, Anton? I don't understand. What did you last ask me? You asked for an email address. Oh, what are the daily activities of refugees in other countries? What do they do daily from your experience? Nothing. There's no work for refugees in Kenya, in Chad, in South Sudan. They don't do anything. They survive. That's what they do for years and years and years. They knock boots and knock up their partners and have kids that are born in refugee camps, and that's what they are for years. It's terrible. I think what's lost on South Africans here, which isn't sinking in, is that there are 7.6 million, 7,600,000 registered refugees around Africa who are currently awaiting resettlement. These are ones that are registered, waiting to go to America, Canada, to Australia, to the UK, to Germany, all the countries that are generous, where all the white people are generous to take these people if they're broke-ass countries. The countries of black folks rarely take them. South Africa takes some, Botswana takes some, but that's rare. So then they call us racist, and we take all these people in, a bunch of shitheads. So you're 7.6 million people. Donald Trump just put you at the front of the queue. Do you know how incredibly lucky that is? How incredibly lucky that is. You jump ahead of 7.6 million people. Imagine that. Imagine that. Just asking, is Supreme Court the only court the president answers to? No, he answers the circuit courts, but the problem is they're currently exceeding their authority, and that's really a problem. So, other activities, I mean, okay, those refugees in camps, but you talking about refugees in America? Well, if you come to America and you're a refugee, you don't live in a camp, you don't live in a tent, you get settled in a place, in a state, in a community where you'll have a sponsor. And there'll be money put, there's programs there to help you do things, to translate your requirements. And we will expect you to get off your ass and go work. Go find a job. Unemployment is 4%. You can find a job. Go get a job. Go start making money. Start paying taxes. Get your driver's license. Pay for insurance. Pay for your rental or the house you're buying, whatever it is. That's what they do. What do people do? At night, they knock boots. And reproduce. Or have fun. Daytime, they hang out, watch TV, go to work, come home, send their kids to school. That's what refugees do. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a smartass, but I don't really understand the question, Anton. Yep, Anita, that's right. You've got a good head on your shoulders. Okay. A manual about destabilized nations race. Yeah, I haven't seen it. There's no news on it. Okay. All right, I'm going to go to my email and see if anybody sent me any email. Here it is. Nobody has sent me anything that shows up my email about wanting to. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my goodness. I'm just reading a horrible story that someone sent me. Wow. That's horrible. So I've got message here offering me jobs. Senior Organizational Development Consultant at Shendo Resources, Management Consultant, HR Consultant, Learning Development Consultant, Data Strategy Engineering Consultant. That's all jobs. Deloitte. That's a 93. All these are 93 or higher % match of my skill set because they've got my name in a database. Yep. Wow. What's this? Yeah, that's an unsolicited thing. I don't know if I want to deal with that. Sorry. There are no FEMA tents. Wait, what tents? Well, I did apply for something at some place and went through a service, and then they just use they put you in a database and they match it. So I get all kinds of job offers all the time. I only mentioned a couple of ones interesting, but I mean I'm getting job offers all the time. I keep getting ones asking me to apply to the local university. I did, and then they didn't process the damn thing. I don't know why they even had it set up. Anyway, all right, folks, it is now 2.5 hours. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to wrap it up here. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Tonight was all about Refugee. Tomorrow or later today, it'll be the news, okay? And Friday, I will be covering the Stormers game on Friday. Friday evening for South Africans, Friday afternoon for me. And then I'll also get up late to cover the events in Pretoria. So if you're going to be there, I'll put a link up for people to call in. If you call in, please do not call in and hold your phone like this, okay? All right? Please hold your phone like this, okay? If you record videos that you want to put on Twitter or you want to share so I can show people what's going on, please record in landscape mode, not in portrait. It's very annoying to have this that we're looking at. We want to see this. Okay? All right. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for being here. I hope I answered everybody's questions. Sorry for the on and off with the start. The internet was all horked up here. Don't know what the deal was. But take care of yourselves. Have a good day. What's the email? What email? To me, I just gave it. I just shared it 10 minutes ago. See why I get pissed off? 10 minutes ago, I just shared this email. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. I think my needle's stuck in the groove. All right, guys. Good night. Cheers. All right. Oh, my goodness.